What's good? Osiris here. Gonna do a quick sound check. Robert, so Waski says, I love your face on this one. The thumbnail. We got a lot to talk about. This is gonna be a extended morning spice. Part of the reason why I am rebranding the morning lives as morning spice is to let you know that this is not necessarily going to be family friendly. I don't want to make it unnecessarily unfamily friendly, but I started waking up early in the morning, and for some reason the takes were spicy way earlier than now. It's 11 Mountain right now, but let me go take a look at the sound check. We got a lot to talk about. We're gonna talk. Well, we've got a financial crisis potentially on our hands. We're on the brink of something bad potentially, and so I think the audio sounds good from a quick check here. Let me just go real quick on a bunch of topics I got. For some reason, I wanted to start with this invasion, and we'll talk about it, get through that, then we'll get to the banks and the financial crisis that we're in. I think those who believe in Austrian economics, which I am on the journey of learning a very little bit, I think they have the right answers, they have the right approach, and they have been proven right step by step by step. Very often, these are libertarian types, but if you want advice on what's happening financially, stay away from people talking about race. I don't care who they are. I got a lot of friends on the populist left that they bring up race. I think they have good hearts. Don't listen to them when it comes to money. Period. You listen to people who know what they're talking about, and I'm not. I'm going to share you information from my journey, but we're going to talk about that. Elizabeth Warren versus Kamala Harris. That spice. I didn't even know about that spice until yesterday. That's a fun one. Gretchen Whitmer backtracking on her pandemic executive gubernatorial orders. I want to see that. We're going to talk about them blaming Donald Trump for the financial crisis as well. Climate discussion mandated in a certain school or a certain district in Oregon. Random thought, did Amazon change their return policy? That's a completely random one. There's this political party called No Labels that's trying to make a move. Interesting. Identifies as Asian. You might know that NPR tweeted yesterday. Congratulations to, I don't even know her name off the top of my head, who won the Oscar for being the first person who identifies as Asian to win an Oscar. I have a funny video about Harry Cookie. I'll explain that later. Tucker talks about Don Lemon. A couple people talked about Don Lemon. A pilot, unfortunately, had a heart attack, collapsed right before they were supposed to fly a plane, suddenly. Brandon's ties to the CCP. I got an Oscars take about the ambiguously gay duo of Michael B. Jordan and Jonathan Majors. I'm definitely going to get to that one. There's pushback on these 15-minute cities overseas across the pond. Madonna had a TikTok that had me dying of laughter. I'm going to have to share that with you. Who knows if I'm going to get to all this. Dr. Karlin Borisenko is going to war. She always goes to war with somebody. I'm here for it. It's entertaining. She's very smart. I might not agree on everything, but she's a shaker. She's a mover. She digs in. She is something else, and she's going to war with gays against groomers, man. When she goes to war with you, she goes to war. Dr. Carla Borisenko, we might disagree on certain things. I'm very respectful for her because I will be very honest with you. I do not want those problems with her. I do not. When she goes to war, I respect that. I'm talking about like figuratively. When she goes to war, she goes to war. She stays ready. I respect it. Even if I disagree or agree, I respect how she stays ready. A little bit of DeSantis stuff, and we're off to the races. Thanks for joining. Hopefully everybody has a good Monday going on. Toy Mafia, yo! Good afternoon, Quest Fanning. Saw these videos come out yesterday on the border, and I would like to have everyone take a look. What we're seeing right now is these are pictures, these are video of what Biden's border looks like. Mr. Bell Melguin, that's where I got this. Fox News, credit to Fox News and Mr. Bill Melugin, if I'm pronouncing that right. I'm very bad with names, so I apologize. This is what it sounds like. We need people reporting on this, and when people get in the streets and figure out what's going on, this is what it looks like and sounds like.
Hello, Bill.
Yeah, Mike, good evening to you. This is an ongoing breaking news situation. Take a look at the live camera from the Paso del Norte port of entry right now in El Paso, where you can see there are still migrants waiting at that bridge, hoping to get into the United States. And CBP has effectively established a blockade there, if you will. Close the gate, set up barbed wire, and there is a CBP special response team there.
I do want to pause just in case, because I will be uploading this as a podcast. For those who are just listening, we are seeing footage from El Paso, Texas. I believe this happened yesterday, Sunday, March 12th, is when I saw the footage. That's when it was posted by Bill. And this is, he's doing a spot on Fox News. We're looking at a port of entry by El Paso, where there are reportedly about 1,000 migrants trying to rush the entry point just to come in.
They're blocking this rush of migrants, which is several hundred in size. We're told potentially around 1,000 people when it first started. But you can see that is ongoing as I talk to you right now. And we'll show you some exclusive video we got just a short time ago when this all first started. Take a look at this. One of our contacts on the ground in Juarez showing this massive group of around 1,000 migrants rushing past Mexican authorities on the Mexican side of the bridge and running up on Paso del Norte port of entry towards the United States, hoping to get let in. Families, single adults, little kids, they're all in this group as they head towards the U.S. border there. But then you're going to see that CBP ended up establishing that line of defense in the middle of the bridge. They closed the gates. They got their special response officers out there. Some of them are in riot gear, and they blocked those migrants from entering. We are told that crowd control measures were used. We don't know exactly what that means yet, so we're not going to speculate, but we're told a large chunk.
I will show you some videos of what those crowd control measures looked like.
Of the group was eventually repelled. Obviously, on the live cameras, you see there are still some people left over waiting. We're told some of the people who were expelled or removed went to a different part of the border, kind of near some train tracks, and were trying to cross.
There's a lot of people eager to get into this racist, Western culture founded, disgusting country that we have, the United States of America. They're basically fighting each other to get through and to get in to the United States of America. This racist. Why would they want to come here? It's so racist and bad and ugly, and we're such a country that hasn't embraced its white supremacy and its founding. And the Constitution is so, if you have a originalist take of the Constitution, you are a Yahtzee and a racist. And why would they come through to our country then?
Elsewhere, some tried crossing in the water. It's unclear what the catalyst was as to why all these hundreds.
They're paying the cartels. I will tell you what the catalyst is reportedly as well. I got more. This was before all the other stuff broke out. But they'll pay coyotes. They will cross the river. They will risk their lives. I guess the racism here is not so bad after all.
Of people suddenly decided this afternoon that they were going to try to rush into El Paso, but you can see how quickly it happened and how quickly CBP had to respond. Federal sources telling me both CBP and Border Patrol are surging their resources down there, and on the other side of the border, the Mexican military is involved with Mexican police trying to get things under control on the Mexican side of the border. I reached out to CBP over an hour ago asking for a comment or statement on what is happening in El Paso right now. Still have not gotten that statement from them. However, they did reply to me and tell me they are working on my request. Obviously, breaking news situation, so they're working on getting information on their end as well. But pretty significant.
A lot of people on the left, including people like Destiny, who is a great streamer, but I have a lot of issues with. They'll say they're asylum seekers. That's who's trying to cross the border. Asylum seekers and just migrants who are trying to flee an oppressive government. Does this look like a bunch of asylum seekers to you? I don't know. Maybe some of them could be, but does it look like it to you? Let's just be real with each other. No, not really. It is what it is. It's people just trying to rush the border into a better country, a better life, a better culture, better opportunity. That's what it's about. Like many other people. My parents are immigrants, many other immigrants. So I'm going to talk after I finish this. I'm not against people. Don't twist my take. I'll clarify after I finish this video. Only about 30 seconds left.
Activity in El Paso this afternoon. It's not every day we see one of these rushes happen at the port of entry like this, especially with such a large group. But everything we're being told from our sources is, for the most part, CBP was able to repel these people who were attempting to get into the United States, Mike. But it is still an ongoing situation, as you can see in the live cameras, and it could potentially be going on for the next several hours as CBP has to stand guard there and make sure nobody is able to rush into the United States. We'll send it back to you.
Shocking exclusive video and great reporting. Bill Malushin live in Mission, Texas.
Malushin, okay. Great, yeah, absolutely great work by Bill there. Almost felt like independent journalism. So credit to Fox News as well for showing that. Jordan Lott says Dave Smith, off topic a little bit, but I want to address this. Dave Smith is going on tour in New York. Let the revolution begin. Dave freaking Smith 2024. I will be talking about that. I will be talking about that later on. I don't know when. I don't know. I might not even get to all the I got so many topics, but that is on my list of things to talk about. I just want to make sure to give a shout out. It always feels good when Jordan comes in the chat and just feels positive. Love it. Thank you, Jordan, as always. As when we go look at the border, I like these comments here. Where Jordan Lott also says, "How is it okay, but we as Americans have to show ID to police? Doesn't seem right. Not at all." Berserker, thanks for the comment, says, "Wow, look at all the poor, oppressed women and children. Come on, it's 90% young men. They got cell phones. Does it look like they're poor, oppressed people fleeing the government, an oppressive government under the realm that would qualify for asylum? It doesn't look like it to me." Some of the reports came out about more stuff, but before I do that, it's not about against the loving left that likes to joke about unliving people on national television. They like to twist your positions into, oh, you hate the people. No, this isn't about hating the people. I have nothing against those people trying to get a better life at all. Maybe if I were in their position, I'd be doing the same thing. My concern is with the system. My concern is where are the priorities. My concern is Carrie Lake talks about this problem and then you attack Carrie Lake. The issues are not with them. People are always going to look. It's a survival instinct for the best opportunity possible. God knows who's coming through or trying to come through the border like that. Just blatant. Nobody knows who's trying to come through. I don't want to talk about the sunflower country. There should be no money, nothing going over there with that happening. I don't want to talk about the CCP. I don't want to talk about the CCP at all. I don't want to talk about Winnie the Pooh at all until that stuff is taken care of. In my opinion, and from what the research I've done, is that it's possible that the CCP is funding the Mexican government, which is really the cartels, into having these type of situations escalate with all kinds of drugs and people coming across the border, which actually dilutes the country and puts us in a very vulnerable position. It needs to be reined in. So as big as the financial crisis is in the bank, and we're going to talk about that, there's not much more important than this border. So, the First Amendment, Second Amendment, get maybe the Bill of Rights, and then the border. Then you talk about the financial stuff, all that as well. But they're tied in. They're all relevant, and they're all tied in together. The financial, the Federal Reserve, all of it is tied into this stuff. So I want to start. That's probably why I felt like, because obviously the biggest story of the day is the financial issues potentially going on in the country. We have literal financial issues, but the financial collapse isn't here yet, and hopefully that doesn't come. That's obviously the biggest story, but I still felt like I wanted to start here. After that spot you heard on Fox News, a little bit more information started coming out. And what it looks like is there was some type of, I think it was on Facebook. And I'm going to show the stuff here and then read it for those just listening. There was some type of thing on Facebook that it looked like potentially caused this run on the border. Bill, I already forgot how to pronounce his name, Melgwin, says, new migrants involved in the attempted mass rushing of the Paso del Norte bridge in El Paso yesterday tell us catalysts were frustrations with the CBP1 app. Let's pause and stop there. I have not covered this app. I kind of covered the, it was the, was it an executive order or legislation? I forget already where this came out of the Department of Homeland Security. So basically what, just my understanding is, my very noobish understanding is, they didn't like the pictures and videos of people crossing the borders like that. So what they did was, hey, they said, hey, you same people who are crossing the borders, in my opinion, in many cases, most cases illegally, you know what, sign up for this app and we'll coordinate it so we don't have to see you crossing the border. So you don't get Fox News and independent journalists being able to go down there, Lawrence Southern and all kinds of people going down there, taking pictures, video. Even Ted Cruz did famously down there, taking pictures and videos of this happening because we know it looks bad for us. Do the app, and I forget how it's coordinated, but you can come through and it won't be like crossing the river coming through. So the app was supposed to be a way, in my opinion, just to hide what was already happening. We have the border issue is a huge one. We don't have enough judges to go through and look at these claims, let them through. How long before they go in front of a judge? Or how do you get them in front of a judge? It's all just complete chaos. Not to mention the evil actors, the aggressors, and all kinds of foreign actors that could be crossing through that border. But they had frustrations with this app. So I don't know. Shocking, a government app that doesn't work. Shocking, I know. I'm going back to this tweet here. And this false rumor on Facebook telling migrants that they would be allowed into the U.S. at the bridge on Sunday. The post claims to be from someone who passed through the port of entry 2 days prior and claims CBP told them they'd let, and that's Customs Border Patrol, told them that they'll let in migrants with extreme cases or if they bring children on Sunday. And with the way the Democratic Party has been handling the border and the institutions, they're supposed to be apolitical, but we know they're not. I mean, this goes through the executive branch, and Brandon is corrupted, in my opinion, through the CCP potentially, and corrupted through the Sunflower Country, all these different interests. So if you're in another country and you hear that, it's not that shocking. It's not that, oh, it might be that day. You know, they've been waiting for that day since he got into office. The Post urges migrants not to miss this opportunity and to begin traveling toward the border. Now, it could be from somebody on the non-left too, trying to set it up to make it ugly too. I don't know what it is, so leave room for all possibilities. 2 other bridges in El Paso were temporarily shut down as migrants gathered at those as well. And here's a phone clip. It's in Spanish of what it looks like Facebook. Me gusta. Kind of looks funny. I've never seen it in a different language. The like is me gusta, obviously, but kind of looks funny in that way. But it's, you know, I'm not fluent. I can kind of read what it's saying, but it's basically saying, come on through. You know who basically gave the signal to come on through? This has been happening, and they've never gone against it. It's the Democratic Party.
Only a few weeks ago, the deadliest massacre of Latinos in modern U.S. history happened in this state, in El Paso. So the fear among Latinos, and you know this, is very real. So let me start with an issue that is causing a lot of division in this country, immigration. Vice President Biden, as a presidential candidate in 2008, you supported the border wall, saying, unlike most Democrats, I voted for 700 miles of fence. This is what you said. Then you served as vice president in an administration that deported 3 million people, the most ever in U.S. history.
So I'm going back in time, and Brandon looks like a young, strappy man. That was only 3 years. Wait, what date is it? Today, yeah, it's only about 3 years ago, the primary, Democratic primary. And he was at one time touting how good he was because under Obama, the border was pretty locked up. They were taking people's ass and deporting them like it was nothing. He was the VP. So now they're trying to attack him politically from the left, saying you were too moderate, you're too too strong on the border. We're now for open borders. So going through his head is, okay, where's my pro-open border talking points? That's what he's looking for. Once they hear the topic, they don't need to hear the rest of the question. Once they hear the topic, they already have a list of talking points, no matter what the specifics of the question are. That's why many times they don't answer the question. The topic is basically immigration, and now this is the Democratic Party primary, so I need to be pro-open borders. So he's got talking points already locked and loaded 3 years ago.
Did you do anything to prevent those deportations? I mean, you've been asked this question before and refused to answer, so let me try once again. Are you prepared to say...
There's the smile. There's the Brandon smile when the bullshitting smile from Brandon when he's about to bullshit you. But you know, this one was really the smile where he wanted to put his hands around his throat smile. See, he has the same smile, but for different things. Like he has a smile for when he trips going up the steps, 5 times smile. Then he jogs. Then he has the smile for when he does a gaff. Smile. Stand up, Chuck. Stand up so everybody can see you, Chuck. Oh, God bless you, Chuck. You make us all stand up. And then he has the smile when, like, if we were in a different place, I would put my hands around your neck, or I would pay somebody to put their hands around your neck.
Tonight, that you and President Obama made a mistake about deportations. Why should Latinos trust you?
What Latinos should look at is comparing this president to the president we have is outrageous, number one. We didn't lock people up in cages. We didn't separate families.
All BS. All BS.
We didn't do all of those things, number one. Number two, by the time this is the president who came along with the DACA program. No one had ever done that before. This is the president who sent legislation to the desk saying he wants to find a pathway for the 11 million undocumented in the United States of America. This is the president who's done a great deal. So I'm proud to have served with him. What I would do as president is several more things, because things have changed. I would, in fact, make sure that we immediately surge to the border. All those people are seeking asylum. They deserve to be heard. That's who we are.
What did you say? The words are very interesting. You said that what?
All those people are seeking asylum because things have changed. I would, in fact, make sure that we immediately surge to the border. All those people are seeking asylum. They deserve to be heard.
That you immediately surge to the border. This is in the Democratic primary 3 years ago, and this is today. We got a literal surge to the border. So when somebody puts a fake Facebook post out there about come on through on Sunday, they letting us all in America. Why wouldn't they believe that? They would have no reason to think it was a lie. I love when I say I love, that means I hate. I love when the populist left, they try to turn things into an academic exercise when it's not very complicated. If I have a home, I'm not against homeless people, but I might have a home that I work, I pay for, I pay the bills through. That's our country, our house. They steal our money through taxes, don't they, Jordan? And everybody else. So this is our house. It's not complicated. You only have so much money for food. You only have so many beds. Your house can't house everyone in the world. So if I open the doors to my house and 100 Negroes sneak in, I'm going to have problems. I'm not against the people. I can't house them all. I don't have a job for all of them. I can't pay them all. They're a strain on the system. They suppress wages. So you have to be able to control. If you want to open up your doors, that is a very gracious thing. The kindness of our country, again, being used as a weakness, it has to be regulated. If I let 100 people into my house, they all don't agree with me. I'm the head of the household. You're not anymore after 100 people run up in your crib. You're not the head of the household anymore. You got mouths to feed. They opening up your refrigerator. You might say, hey, in our household, we don't really throw parties in the backyard. We don't want to bother the neighbors. How are you going to stop them from doing that's not what we do. And the analogy isn't specifically parties in the backyard. The analogy is, do you believe in the fundamental reason why you're here, which is the Constitution, opportunity, a free market as much as we can. We'll get to the collapse in a second. But then the populist left, they will always try to make something more difficult to understand than it needs to be. I was on with friends of show, Generational Change, and we were on there and we were talking with Amani Oakley, who ran for Congress. And I said that exact same take. I said, my problem isn't with the people. I'm not against immigration. God damn it, my parents are immigrants. I don't know what else I wanted. What do you, and this, I hate saying that because it's like I got white friends. It's the same thing. But I mean, I don't know what else I can do to prove to you guys that I'm not against the people. But here's how the discussion played out. I'll play just a little bit of this here.
I don't support it. I just don't think anything to me is that obvious. I think obviously we've been doing shit wrong for a long friggin' time. That's what I think.
Yeah.
And I also just don't think it adds up to history. Like, it just does not add up to what actually has happened in this country throughout history when immigrants have come to this country. Like,
No.
it's like, it just doesn't, they did not break the economy. And I also want us to, really hone in here, because the economics for a country are not the same as personal economics. Those are two different things. And we were talking about classes earlier. They're actually two different.
I know people hate when I interrupt. I can't let this go. I can't let it go without risk. I can't let it go. These are, and what I want to, I'm going to let it go. I'm going to play it in a second. I have nothing. I follow Amani on Twitter now. After the show, I hit her up and I was like, hey, it was a great discussion. There's some things I agreed with her on, some things I disagreed, but it was a civil discussion. So I was like, hey, that's what I like. So no beef. But I am going to keep it real. These are not people you want to listen to economically. It just is not. If you want to balance your budget, I'm talking about from a household to a country standpoint, it's not complicated. It's not that complicated. It is like your household budget. It is. It's that simple. Don't tell me it's different. It's not different. Local municipalities have to balance their books. The federal government does not. All they do is keep printing money and increasing the debt ceiling. That ain't sustainable. It ends at some point, and we might be seeing the cracks right now. It is that simple. Everybody can understand if you have a household and you've got a credit card and you've got revenue, which is income, these MFers in the government have guaranteed revenue and still can't balance the budget. They take the money from you via force and they still can't balance the budget. It's not complicated. You cannot spend more money than you have. The thing that makes them different is they got the money printer. Go brrr. It's that simple. There's nothing else more complicated about it. And that's what happens with the immigration. If you couldn't go brrr, then that immigration wouldn't happen. It's not complicated. Yes, it is, Amani. It is that simple. I feel better, so let's continue.
different classes too. It's microeconomics and macroeconomics.
Right,
They're
right.
like completely
Don't. I'm going to take 4 deep breaths as this plays.
different things. The way you run your household is going to be completely different from the way you run your country for a multitude of reasons. One of them, which is what you mentioned, which is printing money, but also a bunch of other reasons. So, you know.
Notice she says printing money as if it were a good thing. I know that is a fundamental difference between me having to balance my books at home and the federal government. And she acknowledges that. But the way that she acknowledges it is in that it's in favor of the government. That you don't have to look far to see why we are where we are. These are people who are more engaged. She ran for Congress, and she's advocating as a good thing that the government can print money. My Lord.
To say, like, would you let somebody come to your house and eat all your food? Well, like, I'm not the US government. So, like, no, I'm a working class American. America is not the working class of the world. Okay.
So she just said, nah, I wouldn't let these niggas come in and eat my food, but I'm not the federal government. That's literally the take.
It's like, that's not even that comparison. If we were to say that our household,
Look at our face. Oh, look at my face. I'm like, I'm probably literally biting my bottom lip there. It's just very tough to sit through. Shout out to Jen and Peter though. They have great discussions. I have Middle Mag in my name now, and they're a populist left channel. They're not afraid to still have me on. Shout out to them and Amani as well. It's not a diss. Just having fun and making points too.
country are not the same as personal economics. Those are two different things. We were talking about classes earlier. They're actually two different classes too. It's microeconomics and macroeconomics.
Right.
They're
right.
like completely different things. The way you run your household is going to be completely different from the way you run your country for a multitude of reasons. One of them, which is what you mentioned, which is printing money, but also a bunch of other reasons. So, to say, like, would you let somebody come to your house and eat all your food? Well, like, I'm not the US government. So, like, no, I'm a working class American. America is not the working class of the world. Okay. So it's like, that's not.
And the thing that bothers me about these leftists too, this is populist left too. These are the ones that are supposed to be the ones that we could work with. So she brings up macro and microeconomics. So she does. I don't know if she really even understands them. I mean, she's well decorated, degree, all that. But in this context, I don't think she understands micro and macroeconomics. Macro is just big picture. Micro is just small picture. You can do the same thing in your household. Big picture, what's your net worth? Add up what your car is worth, your house is worth, all that. Or micro, you can get down into how many credit cards you have, how much money you're spending per month. You can get down to the nitty gritties of how much gas are you spending per day. That's all it is. Big picture versus small big picture. So what she's trying to say is she doesn't I'm pretty confident in saying, at least in this clip, she doesn't understand micro versus macroeconomics. So what she's saying is my analogy of your household, she's saying that's microeconomics. No, it's not. You can have within your household macro and microeconomics. So she's saying my household analogy is micro and the government is macro. No, both entities have micro and macro within them in my analogy.
Even that comparison, if we were to say that our household, finances and economics are the same as the economics of a nation, even that comparison wouldn't be correct because people here are living paycheck to paycheck. The United States, America is.
I just want to I'm just looking at my face right now. I haven't watched this back. I'm looking at my face right now.
Not the working class of the world.
I'm in the top right. Look at my face.
World. Okay. So it's like, that's not even that comparison. If we were to say that our household, finances and economics are the same as the economics of a nation, even that comparison wouldn't be correct because people here are living paycheck to paycheck. The United States government, I assure you, is not living paycheck to paycheck. I assure you.
Why are they not living paycheck to paycheck? Because they're in debt. They're underwater and they're printing money through what is supposedly supposed to be a private entity. That's why they're not living paycheck to. They should be. They should be living paycheck to paycheck. She's arguing. I'll just go. I'm done.
So it's not a right comparison. It's a false equivalency. It's something that we just have to do away with when we have discussions of this matter.
Don't listen to them when it comes to finances. That's not their strong suit. They do have strong suits. They organize well. They play to emotions well. And that's not to be a diss. That is a skill. If I can't play to emotions and they can, if not me, but if somebody like Dave Smith is better with finances than they are, then that's the beauty of us being able to team up and say, here's where your strengths are. First of all, your strength is not finances. I need you to shell up. When it comes to money, shh, stop talking. I'm going to listen to Dave Smith. But if you need to organize in the street, we'll pool resources, and y'all are very good at organizing. Let's use your resources. When it comes to organizing, zip it. I'll zip it. And we can work together. So it's no diss. But man, it's tough listening to some of that stuff from the left. Man, it's really tough. Wow. But let me know what you think. Let me know what you think. That's my discussion on the immigration piece for today. I'll show you the last piece I wanted to show was the use of force. Nothing violent, but just showing what it took. It took bilateral agreement to get this done. And Mexico has not been friendly. Did a live about Nick Fuentes talking about Mexico not happy with the Republican Party in America. But this is bilateral. It's just a short little clip here. I'll play it with no audio. Let's see if there's just wind. Yeah, so just wind in the background with the audio. But what I'm showing here, and I'll keep it playing after I read this, by Bill Melguin says, this is the bilateral show of force that dispersed the huge group of migrants trying to rush a port of entry in El Paso. 2 lines of Mexican military. Then on the U.S. side, physical barriers, barbed wire, and a skirmish line of Customs Border Patrol officers in crowd control gear. Woo! They had to get strapped up and ready for this invasion. So when we call it an invasion, it's an invasion. Now, this is a one-time incident here, but we know it's bigger. It's millions coming through, undocumented, spread throughout, untracked. We don't know where the hell they are. That's what it looked like for them to kind of push back on it. Let me know what you think on the immigration topic. We'll go to the finances here in a second. Just going through the comics. Y'all are funny, though. Not the comics, but y'all are funny. Quest Fanning says, try printing extra money for all the stuff you want. See how long your house will stand. Yeah, you're going to end up like George Floyd with a knee on your neck. That's what's going to happen. Remember, he was using a counterfeit 20. Using a counterfeit 20. Resisting arrest, didn't listen to instructions, and ended up with a knee on his shoulder. And yeah, that's what happens. So we can't print the money. Imagine if you could just print money in your household. We'd be all in Jeff Bezos' yachts, crashing into each other with helipads and boats on palm boats, and God knows what kind of weaponry on board. If we could all print money. And then the peasants beneath us, their dollars would be devalued. That's what would happen. So the basics of this financial crisis, here's another thing. It's not complicated. It really is not. When you break it down to its essence, you can get more and more complicated the deeper and deeper you get into it. Absolutely. But on its face value, the collapse is not that complicated. What you have were power-hungry, manipulative people in power at a bank. Well, let's talk. There's multiple banks I think it's 3 now that have been taken over. I'm going to play the clip from Tim earlier today talking about it, just to help me guide along my points, and then some other stuff, a comic Dave Smith clip, they broke it down. I just love libertarians. It's not all, I hate saying libertarians because not all libertarians are based. So the Austrian economics, you got Young July, you got Tom Woods, you got comic Dave Smith, you got all of them, Michael Malice and them. They're based in this. But I'll just go to Tim Cass from earlier today, him breaking it down. And I just like how Tim, like on big stories, like every story, but on big stories like this, Tim he just has that way of being able to just break it and just make it sound so, important and putting it in its right perspective. Here is the young
Ladies and gentlemen, this may be the big one. I certainly hope not.
You hear how he starts it out? I love how he does that, man. He's starting it out with a news headline. He's like your newspaper in the morning. Here is the young 37-year-old, newly 37-year-old, happy belated, Tim Pool.
Ladies and gentlemen, this may be the big one. I certainly hope not, but may be. This morning, I talked about a second bank that had collapsed, Signature. We're now hearing a third bank may be about to collapse. Not entirely sure. I am not a financial expert.
Let me say and step in already. This whole system is based on nothing more than faith. That's it. And when I say this whole system, I mean everything from the Constitution to the government to the financial institutions to education to the value of money, all of it. The only glue that keeps it to our voting process, the only glue that keeps it together is faith. I think about the Limp Bizkit song. You got to have faith. That's what it comes down to, all of it. So it doesn't matter what is happening in reality. Same with the election. The election could have been, every election could have been the best election that's ever been done. If people don't trust it, then it means nothing. Same with the banks. If people don't think if I put my money in the bank that I'll be able to get it anytime I want up until when I die, and if I need to transfer it to my kids, then I'm not keeping it there, and you've got big problems.
But we are seeing trading halted on the financial sector to a ridiculous degree that is particularly worrying, and stocks are collapsing among the financial sector. This could be the contagion that Andrew Yang was worried about. And they're saying, don't worry. Joe Biden comes out and he says, there's not going to be a burden on the taxpayer. We're going to insure the deposit.
Don't worry. The MFer who can't walk up a flight of stairs has no mental acuity left. The guy who can't speak, he espouses no confidence in anybody, even the shills that try to prop him up. Don't worry about it. He got it, y'all. We good.
You're going to get your money. But what he's not telling you is that the insurance they're talking about, FDIC, covers up to $250,000. They're going to be bailing out the people above that who aren't insured with this money. So ultimately.
So you see the problem. Let's look at, I'm not familiar with the other banks. The research that I did was on the Silicon Valley Bank collapse. So I'll talk about that specifically. That bank, to my knowledge, is a private type of bank, meaning it didn't have like just common people have accounts in there. It was Silicon Valley, big tech people, and you know who they're tied into. The same ones who suppress, allegedly, this channel and many other discussions online. They're the ones that had their money in that bank. You know, the woke ones. They're literally proving go woke, go broke right in front of our very eyes. And it's going to trickle down to everybody. So they've got their own form of trickle economics going, but they got way more than my understanding is you only get guaranteed insured by the government up to that's what Tim's talking about, up to $250,000. But these people got way more than that in there. So they're like, you're going to guarantee up to $250,000. Imagine if you had a $5 million in there. I don't know. I'm just throwing out numbers. Imagine if you had $1 million. And the government was like, we got you on 250. The other 750, bye-bye. So they're in discussion. I don't know where it's at now. I haven't been able to keep up with everything today. But that's the concern, is they want all their money insured, even though that's not what the deal was. Let's go back to Tim.
I think it is unfair to say that it's not impacting the taxpayers. I get it. Fees are paid to the banks for the FDIC, but this insurance is meant for the little guy. Do you have $250,000 in your bank account? That's who's supposed to be protected, not the Silicon Valley billionaires.
Keep in mind, they don't, these organizations, institutions, they don't make any money. So obviously it's the taxpayers bailing it out. Where's the money coming from? Now they can hide it by saying we'll just print more money. And then now you wonder why your loaf of bread will cost $10 because it's a hidden tax.
The big news right now is that stocks are being halted across the board. I've got this report from Investor Place. SVB wasn't the only banking stock to be halted. They say the collapse of SVB led to multiple trading halts. Other banking stocks saw their shares halted due to high volatility amid a sell-off. While these stocks may recover, their immediate future remains uncertain. Take a look at this. Bloomberg from this morning. Breaking. First Republic Bank shares drop by a record 67% at the open before trading halted. I need you to hear this, my friends. Bitcoin's through the roof. I didn't see this one coming. I thought with the exchanges taking a hit, Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies would likely take a hit as well, but it looks like crypto is...
I don't know what to think about Bitcoin and the market, because obviously as fiat, what we're seeing with those banks going down is fiat crashing, just like your money is what I'm saying. Your traditional paper dollars, which it's all become digital, not fully digital, but it's like you put your money in the bank and you look at how much your account is on a screen. You don't get to go in there and swim in your $2,000 like Scrooge McDuck. So what we're seeing is fiat currency crashing. And you would expect that Bitcoin would go up. You would obviously, so any type of government issued money crashing, you would see money for the people, which is through Bitcoin. You would see that going. That's what you would expect to see happening. But I've expected it to be higher in the past as well, and I don't know if there's other forces manipulating it or what, but it is going up now.
Rallying. It's a weird feeling, I got to be honest. I am worried about the financial sector. Absolutely. Banks, look at this. UMB Financial is down 25%. First Foundation, this is down 23%. Veritex Holdings, down, they're all down. Look at this one. PacWest, down 29%. Can I refresh this? Don't get me wrong. Look, you got some that are up by single digits, but it looks like for the most part, across the board, major hits. Right now, the NASDAQ Bank Index is down 6%. So as I watch the financial sector seemingly be in some kind of free fall, two banks have already collapsed. The second and third largest banking collapse in U.S. history happening within days of each other. And now PacWest is down 30%, UMB 25%, First Foundation 23%.
What we're seeing here is proof that the whole banking system is a Ponzi scheme. And basically how I define Ponzi scheme, and this could be a bad different definition, but what I mean is if you put money into a fund or anywhere in any type of vehicle, and so you have a bunch of people put money inside of any type of vehicle, whether it's a bank, checking, saving, it doesn't even have to be anything else like a CD or anything like that, bonds, nothing, forget about that. You just put money in the bank just to let it sit, even no interest. If everybody at the same time can't take it out, then it's a Ponzi scheme, in my opinion. And that's what we have. No, it's if every person in America said, and I'm not calling for this. I wouldn't be afraid to if I felt that's what you need. I'm just staying away from that. I'm not calling for anything. But if somebody wanted to go in, we're talking about Great Depression type stuff right now. If everybody wanted to go in and say, I want my money so I can take it and put it under my bed or whatever else, that wouldn't be possible. The banks couldn't do it. What that means is it's all a big Ponzi scheme. And what that means is if people don't have faith, then they will ask for that to happen, and then everything falls. The whole tower, the whole charade, the game of charades is over if that happens. Thomas Massey had a tweet. I'm going to play a little bit more Tim Pool and find this Thomas Massey tweet.
DVB Financial, 17. Huntington Bank Shares, 16. Broadway, the list is huge. It's a major hit. I was listening to a Twitter space earlier as people talked about what was going on. This may not be the apocalypse. I don't want people to go run out screaming. They say they're going to deposit they're going to insure the depositors. There's a lot of questions and concerns about what that ultimately means. But I don't know. I'm not the guy who can tell you if this is going to be the big one. I can only show you It's looking kind of bad. Ladies and gentlemen, what you see here on the screen right now, and for those that are listening, is the NASDAQ current trading halt list. And
So they're halting trading to avoid a complete collapse of the market. And we've seen this multiple times before. That's not a free market. I don't know if I'm for or against it, but as you can see, there are some controls. I think you probably do need some controls in the market, but here's the tweet I was talking about with Thomas Massey. So last night, as of Sunday last night, as of 6:24 Mountain Time, Thomas Massey said that he just got off a Zoom meeting with Fed, Treasury, FDIC, House, and Senate. That's an unusual situation. A Democrat senator that he did not name essentially asked whether there was a program in place to censor information on social media that could lead to a run on the banks. Why did they do that? Because they know the whole system is only based on faith. That's why. So it doesn't matter where it's true or not. Same thing happened during the pandemic. We found out during the pandemic through, I believe it was through the Twitter files, that they wanted to censor accurate information of the therapeutic during the pandemic where people got injured. They said true stories must be suppressed. I believe they did this stuff through an NGO. The government isn't stupid enough in most cases to come straight out. They have these non-government organizations do what they want to do. So now they can get around the Constitution. So this, I think it was a non-government organization, said, hey, anything, even if it's true, suppress it. Why? Because the therapeutic nobody's going to take the therapeutic if they don't have faith in it. That's why they suppress the information. Why do they always use this term, the big lie, about what happened during the last process? What does that mean, the big lie? You surely haven't proved it wasn't a lie. Neither side to me has fully proved it was or wasn't a lie. But why are they able to say the big lie, or why do they even try to go down that route? Because they just want you to have faith in the process. It doesn't matter if it was a lie or not. We can't prove to you. We won't prove to you. We have third-party contractors involved, like the Domino company, and they won't let us know what happened. They won't let their algorithm be public, just like Twitter or YouTube or TikTok. So we can't prove to you. Nobody has proven to you that it wasn't a lie. Nobody's proven to you that 81 million votes were true. No one has done it. It hasn't been done, hasn't even been come close to being done. But why did they say big lie? Because they need your faith. Without your faith, they don't have anything. So they just label something a lie that they didn't prove that's true. Whenever you hear somebody say a big lie, to me in my head, that's a funny way of saying that you can't prove anything either way. And they want to make sure to keep that faith instilled in the American public. One of the disturbing things that we saw is that it sounds like or looks like people knew potentially that this thing was going to collapse before. So we saw something where the people with the bank, I'm looking at the Silicon Valley Bank specifically, they started selling stock early. I mean, like a while ago. When they sell this stock, they have to give lead time for it. So the CEO of Silicon Valley Bank sold $4 million worth of his stock, and I don't know exactly what the timing is on that. Let me look that up real quick so I can give that to you. This is via Forbes. Hopefully there's no paywall on this so we can get this. I don't want to be inaccurate on this information. Via Forbes. This is where I want to start with the whole thing. Somebody knew something, in my opinion, allegedly. SVB Financial CEO sold $3.6 million in stock before banks collapse. I'm sure it was just a coinkydink. Oh, don't tie anything together. You're a conspiracy theorist if you do. The CEO of Silicon Valley Bank sold this stock 2 weeks before the California banking giant's epic crash Friday. And if you know how this stuff works, I'm not an expert, but I just have a general idea. You can't just go in there and sell 3.6 million in stock. You've got to plan that before. So they knew, at least the CEO allegedly knew well more than 2 weeks before this collapse that something ain't right. So I had to go secure that bag before it all fell apart. Not too much different than the FTX stuff, honestly. It's different, but it's this. Fundamentally, it's a Ponzi scheme that was falling apart based on the failure of the people in charge. Fundamentally, it's the same thing. And guess what? They all, well, for the most part, supported Democrats. You've got Peter Thiel in there that is not way more MAGA friendly. But for the most part, we know big tech is woke. You see ChatGPT, you can't even ask it really about Trump, or, it treats Trump different than Biden. Woke, non-woke, it's programmed. The wokeness is programmed into Silicon Valley. And they knew, in my opinion. It has led to the biggest bank failure since the Great Recession in 2008. Let me go to the people. I showed a clip of who you shouldn't listen to when these financial issues arise. But let's focus on who you should listen to, in my opinion, who's the people that I value what they have to say. And you probably know where I'm going with this. I'm going to go to Comic Dave Smith, libertarian. So I got to hit Robbie the Fire Bernstein up too. Been on his show a couple times. I'd love to get him on this show, but it's hard to schedule. But here's Comic Dave Smith on with Clint Russell. Clint Russell's been on, both of them been on with Tim Cass multiple times. Tim basically only he has a lot of based guests on there that know a lot. These two are two of the most knowledgeable. And right now, I'm just going to.
They've said as of now.
I'm going to be quiet and listen. They break it down very well here. This is on Dave Smith's channel. Sub up to this, Dave Smith right here. Might be announcing a presidential run pretty soon. We'll see.
58 basis points, about 0.5% added return. They put themselves in a position to go bankrupt, and that's what happened. Whew. I mean, this is negligence of the highest order, and this is where the ESG stuff comes into play. They're just not really focused on risk, and ultimately, as a banker, that is your highest duty. I mean, you have to be focused like a laser on risk all the time, and obviously profitability and looking after your shareholders. But risk is everything as a banker, because if you go insolvent, well, then the whole game is up.
Well, it's another form of profitability and looking after your shareholders.
Exactly.
You don't go belly up, right?
Exactly, because if you have income but you don't take into consideration losses, well, then the income doesn't really matter, right? And that's essentially what happened, is that they put in charge, and well, it gets way uglier too. The CEO was on the San Francisco Fed board as of Friday of this week, Dave. So he got let go. His company goes belly up on Friday, and he gets let go from the San Francisco Fed board on Friday too. I mean, it's incredible.
Right, so listen, did he have a hand?
The person on the right is Clint Russell. I like people who can explain complicated things in simple manner, and he's just great.
In kicking off the global world economic collapse, possibly, but you got to admit, rough Friday for that guy. Like whatever his weekend plans were, they really got messed up. Like that was not Thursday morning. This guy was feeling pretty good about where things were going.
Well,
well, maybe not, but
yeah.
You sent me which I couldn't even believe was real, but that one of the guys, what was his position? Well, one of the guys who was an exec there was also was he the CFO for Lehman Brothers?
He was the CFO for Lehman Brothers.
And Lehman Brothers, if you don't know, I believe Lehman Brothers was the first bank to fail in the big 2008 crash. And after I play this clip, I'll wrap up this segment with the big takeaway for especially young people is people will see the financial system crashing and they will blame capitalism. You know that happens. You know they will, because there's people who are opportunistic. Just like if there's a hurricane, you remember, I think it was in Florida, there was a hurricane. People are looting houses and doing all kinds of scams. We're in a financial hurricane. So people who want to manipulate others, whether they get them into the T group or they get them into the Democratic Party or whatever the case may be, Elizabeth Warren, I'll probably show a little clip from her blaming Trump for this. That's special kind of stuff. They'll use it as an opportunity to manipulate your mind and say, see, and if you don't know what's happening, you could easily fall into that. Oh yeah, you're right. Capitalism is evil. No. This ain't a capitalism thing.
Went under.
You can't even it's at a certain point, you're like, the people who are writing this simulation script are getting lazy. Like, this can't even be, it's too, for the record, I would like to state that his name was Gentile. So if there's one name I want to hear on a banker,
You're safe,
that's the
Dave.
name I really want to hear. Yeah,
that was funny
Gentile.
too, man. That was so funny too. Yeah,
Anyway.
I mean, but it just shows the ancestral nature of the highest level of finance in this country. That
I want to stop for a second on that. This is not. I will say this. Forget about even the Austrian economics or based economics, like what they're talking about. Another principle for me, anybody who uses race or religion as a defensive shield or a weapon, I don't want to hear what they have to say about economics, even if they believe in based economics. And I bring that up because comic Dave Smith is Jewish, and he always makes Jewish jokes. He just made a Christian, what's Gentile? Gentile's non-Jewish, right? He just made a non-Jewish joke. He's like, man, if it's something that's cool for me to see, it's the banker isn't Jewish.
no matter how bad you are, even if you presided over one of the biggest economic implosions of all time, you still kick around and end up near the top of it. Yet another big bank that goes bust. It's just, you just fail upward as long as you're politically tied and as long as you say the right things. They don't care. It's really not a meritocratic system, and that's what I oppose most.
Right. I mean, look, I think that's in many ways, just in general, it's the real problem with government and government involvement in every level, is that there's just you have essentially I'd say there's almost three different worlds of economic activity. There's there's the state, there's voluntary association, and there's crime. Right. So there's now criminals, if you're taking you're mugging someone or something like that. Well, the person legally has the right to resist. And also there are cops and things like that there might be some form of punishment. In the free market, there's a cleansing mechanism of the profit and loss system, where if you're really not doing well for your customers, you end up going out of business. But with government, they're the one exception where you're there through imposing your will on people, whether they like it or not. And if you fail, you get more funding.
You fail, I'm going to stop this and play my conclusion. If you fail, your answer is, we didn't help you enough. I think was it Reagan who said, there's nothing you should be more scared of than somebody saying, I'm from the government and I'm here to help. So there's nothing more scary than a government, financial collapse, and then the Democratic Party or whoever, Republican Party, whoever, coming in and saying, we're here to help. Here's what we need. Central bank digital currency. Here's what we need. We need universal basic income. Here's what we need. And they come in and they have the solution, and the solution always comes with more money from you. Nothing like that. Here's an example of it. Elizabeth Warren, fixing her mouth. I keep messing it up. Nina Turner brought that phrase back to me. It's a Southern phrase, and I keep messing it up. So let me just stop pretending like I'm a Southern. My parents are from Jamaica. I'm not a Southern American. Elizabeth Warren fixing her mouth to blame Trump. Tweet. Is this a tweet? Yeah, this is a tweet here, I believe, or a statement. Yeah, it's a tweet. Bank failures are the direct result of leaders in Washington weakening the financial rules. In 2018, President Trump signed a law rolling back critical protections. I fought these changes. I warned that banks would run up risk. I wish I'd be wrong. You know what she doesn't talk about is spending from the Federal Reserve. So you have been wrong, Ms. Warren. I'm not even going to get into what Trump signed into law was not directly, it was more about small banks, medium-sized banks. They want to beat those banks up. So she's misconstruing that. How evil this is pure evilness to misconstrue these things in the face of corruption. And if Trump were in office blaming Biden for something in 2018, I would wreck him too. I don't want to hear it. Who's going to tell Elizabeth Warren it's 2023? Is anybody going to wake her ass up? She's been in the Senate since 2013. She was there in 2018. You can get wrecked just like, if you want to talk about Trump, then we need to talk about you before Trump. Who's going to tell her that? You were there. You're there now. Dems had the tiebreaker in the Senate, had the House for the first couple years. And Visible says, my thoughts exactly. If the policy was so criminal, why hasn't she and the Dems fixed it? They're blaming Trump from 2018. It's 2023 now. It's not like they didn't have power. It's almost like they're selfish politicians with zero interest in helping anyone but themselves. But we peasants are too busy infighting to see it. And I'm a fault. That's a great comment there. And I'm at fault as well. But I don't know how we avoid these infighting. And I wouldn't call it infighting, but Sabby Sabs and I kind of went back and forth with Sabby Sabs, who I think extremely highly of. Shout out to her. She's a populist left, and just the way she does her YouTube channel and her preparation, her knowledge, her activism. She's in the streets. I think very highly of her, but damn it, y'all, when it comes to race, man, I almost feel like, are there any topics in your marriage or relationship where you're just like, it's not healthy, but you're almost like, let's just not talk about that because we haven't been able to work through it. We're not going to work through it. We're going to disagree on it. And that's me and the populist left in race. And we were talking about Colin Kaepernick, but that's irrelevant to this point here. So the financial institutions crashing, and we should be on the same side. Amani Oakley, Jen, Peter, we should all be on the same side. And the biggest thing that separates us is race. You bring up race, and I can't talk race with y'all without infighting. But we do have to get past it. Here's what it looks like when it's manipulated. This is an old video, and I'm going to start it probably about 3 minutes in here. And let's see, hopefully it's in my old format. This video is from a year ago. It's got to be up from well over a year ago. It only says a year ago on YouTube, but I wanted to talk about this is what could happen. Also let the big bank executives off the hook. This is what could happen. I talked about this. I was talking about the crash of 2008. We're going through the same type of stuff right now. And here's what could happen. Banks. All of this eventually leading to Occupy Wall Street, the original one. So Obama was elected president. Everybody was excited. Here, I'm going to go back a little bit to this tweet here. I've gone to this tweet multiple times. Let me just do the open. I had a different open back then. I like Osiris here stuck in the middle. And you go on Twitter, and sometimes there are tweets that really hit home. And that's what this tweet is by Javan. Amazing, amazing tweet. So he starts off and he's telling you what his progression is as a person politically from 2008 to 2020. So how did these people, they're running around with the hammer and sickle Soviet Union flag. They are proud socialists. How does that happen? How did that happen? Not for everyone, but for many of them. Well, it started by them being negatively affected financially and then blaming it on capitalism. So I'm going to tie this into why do you see all this wokeism, critical race theory, Black Lives Matter, pretending Antifa doesn't exist? Why is all that happening? It is a very simple explanation. It's for votes. But to get there is kind of complicated. And I'm just putting the pieces together. Let me know what you think. I love to talk about this stuff. And it's important to me, not just from a standpoint of, oh, I'm following political chess, no different than you follow the NBA. I've got 2 kids. They're being raised up in all this. And I've got to see what moves are being made so that I can help them. I'm not going to make decisions for them. If they want to be wokest, they'll be wokest. But I have to be able to see what's going on, what are they being taught, and balance it out with my own thoughts as well to help them think critically on their own. So let's get to the tweet. The tweet starts out with Javan in 2008. 2008, it was a crazy, crazy year. Obama, president, my hero. I'm a proud liberal. I voted for Obama as well. That's how it starts. It starts happy. It starts with rejoice. But then over time, it doesn't age as well. So in 2008, Obama was president. Well, he came in right when the housing market crashed and we had to do bailouts. And Obama chose big banks. Many people lost their home. This is the same choice. It's not as big yet. Hopefully it doesn't get that big, but this is the same choice that's being made right now. Very similar choice. This is the first financial crisis for a lot of young, impressionable minds who are still forming their thoughts on what is this capitalism thing. What Obama did here was an establishment move. It was not a left or right thing. It was an establishment thing that covers both the left and the right. Both the left and the right in DC were happy with Obama bailing out the big banks. All of this eventually leading to Occupy Wall Street, the original one. So Obama's administration also let the big bank executives off the hook for their roles in the crisis. Imagine if someone funded you, if you're going to do something, and they funded you millions of dollars, and they did something wrong, and you were the one that had to. Exact same scenario. Silicon Valley, in a large part, obviously the vast majority funds the Democratic Party, establishment Republicans and Democrats. They're expecting to get bailed out. We backed you, bail us out. Hold them accountable. That'd be a little awkward, wouldn't it? Obama had 9 million foreclosures. That's a lot of young, impressionable minds that saw their parents lose their homes or loved ones lose their homes, family members, other people literally lose their homes to the banks. So we have the establishment. I got to get back to the chalkboard. I don't have it set up where I can do that easily live, but I do want to get back to the chalkboard. It's funny. Go to the whiteboard. If you're just listening, I got a whiteboard drawing it out right now. Obama is the left. I didn't know it at the time. I knew they were elitist. I just wasn't as educated on this stuff. I knew what you might mean by the establishment, big banks, private equity firms, and the politicians that are paid by them and the media as well. But I know so much more now. Obama was establishment. If I had viewed Obama as establishment, I wouldn't have voted for him. Obama was so good at kind of coming across as populist. But so Obama's establishment left. So Obama bails out the people who funded him. So the establishment has, I'm just going to put EST funding. So they funded Obama. Obama is establishment left. And Obama paid them back. Not just Obama and Democrats. I don't know how much decision making Obama had in this. So and Republicans. They were all just a big loop. And you put the right in here as well. They're all the same. They fight for position, but they're all just like the NBA. So if the Lakers are playing the Nets, it's still the NBA. So they're all in the establishment. 2016, Bernie comes along. And I was shocked at the energy. Bernie Sanders, whoo, he came on the scene. So going back to that original tweet, Javan said, okay, 2016, I supported Bernie, but voted for Hillary because of Trump. I went from an Obama supporter to now I'm moving more left, you could say. Now I'm a proud progressive. He's not a socialist yet. Hard. And if it weren't for the super delegates and some other things, he might have actually won. But Bernie came and he campaigned outside of the establishment. He campaigned out on the left. Here's Bernie. Now, he is really establishment, but he campaigned outside of it. He actually isn't independent, but he had to run as a Democrat because you don't have any chance if you're not in one of the two parties, just like Trump really wasn't a Republican. You really have to, if you want to be president, link up with one of the two parties. So all roads go through the establishment, no matter what. But Bernie was outside. He ran as someone outside of the establishment. And that's when Javan's talking about supported Bernie. But Bernie didn't win. Hillary won. So Hillary won, but voted Hillary because of Trump. So Trump is outside of the establishment on the right side, both populist movements. And there were some overlap, believe it or not. So when Bernie didn't win, quite a few people, I think it was 8%, went over to Trump, believe it or not. It's actually 12. I actually took time back then to cite. It was about 12% went from Bernie to Trump. Why? Because they both advertised themselves as outside of the establishment. If you prioritize, I want someone outside of that establishment sandbox, you either had Bernie or Trump. That was it. That's why it's so important for the establishment, right and left, to call this dude right here a racist. Trump was racially insensitive. He didn't do enough to overcome that labeling. But I don't think Trump was a racist. But so my theory is you have to call him a racist so people from Bernie's camp don't go over to his camp. Ever. Not just in 2016. He's still alive down the road. He could run in 2024. So you have to label him as something so bad that not only black people can't go there, but if you're white and you go there, I'm going to label you with this. So you can kind of see where the wokeism is coming in. Okay, so 2016, Trump wins. So we get down to 2020. Now we're activated. We've got all kinds of lockdowns and things going on. Forget Obama. Forget the establishment duopoly. That's what he's talking about, is this box. He's talking about this box right here. That's the establishment duopoly. He's tired of that. So now he's like, forget that. You had me here. I voted for Hillary. She was in the establishment. Now I'm off the screen. I'm left of Bernie. I'm a proud socialist. How many people do you think that resonates with? 810 likes, 129 retweets. Powerful tweet. It represents a lot of our country. Then we have more bailouts. 2020 with the lockdowns, the stimulus, and all of that. Who are the winners? It was the largest transfer of wealth in the history of our country to the 1% or very rich in our country. So these young people have seen capitalism through the eyes of this establishment box take away their homes, protect big banks, private equity, take away their jobs for lockdowns, and allow winners and losers, where you have the biggest transfer of wealth ever. Jeff Bezos' net worth during the pandemic, at least, increasing by $86 billion, and now he has a $500 million yacht. And that's what they see. He was one of the winners during the pandemic, and now they have gone further left, further woke, and it's hard to put these pieces back together. They are done with capitalism. You can't sell him on capitalism. What I would tell the young man and anybody like him is the establishment is the issue. It doesn't matter if our government is communist or not. That establishment is going to control it. You guys on the left, if the establishment exists, your ideal socialism, communism, whatever the hell you believe in today, it will still be manipulated by the same people. So don't get it twisted. Capitalism isn't the problem. The problem is that box. So if you think that talking about socialism, communism is going to tear up that box, no, it's not. It's never happened in the history of the world. We've never had a communist country without that establishment box. It's never happened, and it never will. I'll just stop it right there. Let me know what you think. Nice to revisit. Why do I look like that happened like what, a year ago? At least YouTube said a year ago. I kind of look like I aged like Brandon. I got the gray is way more gray. Damn, a lot happens in a year, huh? Much less 10, half a generation. My oldest is only 6. I'm gonna be out here looking like, I don't know who. I'm gonna be out here looking like the Crypt Keeper when he's like 15. Oh man. My wife was telling me she picked out a gray hair like out of her cheek or whatever. I don't know. Women pick out hair. And I'm looking at her like, you picked out one gray hair and you're coming to me for like sympathy? Embrace it. Like it's just there for me now. You came to the wrong bruh for sympathy on like one little gray piece of hair. So a lot's happened over the last 3 years. I'll tell you that. I'll tell you that much. I went from like soft speaking there. Now I got MAGA Man. I got a MAGA Man shirt. I got a website called Middle MAGA. So Javon has moved further left. I've moved further right. I haven't talked about why that is. I should do the same type of video on why that happened. Obama happened, and we took two different paths. We both agreed Obama was some BS. He went the left path. Why? Because of race, in my opinion. And I took the right path because of God, family, country. And we're in that predicament again with the Banks failing. That's my thoughts on it so far. Let me know if you heard anything going on. It's kind of hate, you're doing the show. I can't, this stuff is updating in real time. Brandon did a speech and Brandon blamed Trump too. I think I actually do have that clip. Yeah, I have that clip here. It's very short. Brandon blamed Trump, of course. I need to get a drop of Eric July falling asleep every time he sees wokeism in like comic book stories. I need to fall asleep and snore every time I hear a Democrat blame Trump. I mean, that's the normal political thing, but it just feels more stupid right now than ever.
The law. And finally, we must reduce the risk of this happening again. During the Obama-Biden administration, we put in place tough requirements on banks like Silicon Valley Bank and Signature Bank.
I'm going to need you to update your resume, my nigga. You still talking about Obama-Biden presidency from 2008? Update your resume. We're in 2023.
Obama-Biden administration, we put in place tough requirements on banks like Silicon Valley Bank and Signature Bank, including the Dodd-Frank law to make sure that the crisis we saw in 2008 would not happen again. Unfortunately, the last administration rolled back some of these requirements. I'm going to ask Congress and the banking regulators to strengthen the rules for banks to make it less likely this kind of bank failure would happen again, and to protect American jobs and small businesses.
Okay, that's enough. That's the resident buffoon blaming Donald Trump. Whether you like Trump or not, that's just ridiculous. Isaac Hall, thank you for stopping by for the show, says protecting big banks has nothing to do with capitalism. Capitalism is you succeed or fail based on your own business decisions. Exactly. So what they didn't understand was when Obama and the government, the Federal Reserve, they bailed out the big banks, then they kept interest rates artificially low all the way through under Trump. Trump loved it. They artificially kept interest rates low. If they had been increasing them back after that bailout, we wouldn't, still the printing the money is the problem, but you wouldn't have to be doing the huge increases that they're doing now. If they had been gradually, especially when the economics are good like under Trump, the interest rates should have been going up. Playing too many games. But Isaac Hall is right, is saying that what they didn't understand is when they bailed out the big banks, that's not capitalism. That's something else. I don't even know what to call it. So, but they still think that, oh yeah, that's capitalism. That's how capitalism works, is when the government gets involved and bails people out like that. And they got that wrong. How many times does, Trump's not absolved from all this stuff happening, but he has been based, he has been right, and at times Donald Trump damn near sounded prophetic.
All of this incredible job that we've done will go down like that. It will be a terrible, terrible sight.
This is Donald Trump warning everyone, Dow since record high, since February. So they're talking about when he's running for president, Trump's like, you think things are bad now because of the pandemic, and our reaction to the pandemic is me putting that in there. He's saying, wait until Brandon gets into office. He said this in 2020.
All of this incredible job that we've done will go down like that. It will be a terrible, terrible sight. It might even be a 1929 situation, so you have a chance to have the greatest numbers in history. You're almost there. We're almost back to where we were from the standpoint of the stock market. Think of that. But you'll have a crash like you've never seen before. You put the wrong person in office, you'll see things that you would not have believed are possible. All of this incredible job that I'm
just going to marinate. I just want to make sure. I don't think anybody in the chat right now needs to hear this again. But I just want to, tell me where the lie was in 2020. Can you believe how on point he was with some of this stuff? We talked about the sunflower country in Russia and how Trump and, he talked about the world government, the one world government people, how he was on point on again and again and again, Give the man his credit. You don't have to like him. At least for this clip, just be quiet and let him have his moment.
All of this incredible job that we've done will go down like that. It will be a terrible, terrible sight. It might even be a 1929 situation, so you have a chance to have the greatest numbers in history. You're almost there. We're almost back to where we were from the standpoint of the stock market. Think of that. But you'll have a crash like you've never seen before. You put the wrong person in office, you'll see things that you would not have believed are possible. All of this incredible job that we've seen before. You put the wrong person in office, you'll see things that you would not have believed are possible.
And we're living it right now. So you can say what you want about Donald Trump, but it's easy to see why people look at him like, wait a second, he had some points. It's exactly what's happening. Which one's better? Which shirt is more accurate? The Alex Jones was right or the Donald Trump was right? That they're kind of like a neck and neck competition over some of their beef. And I'm not absolving Trump of his issues, his spending. I've talked about that. You don't know who's seen the video for the first time, so I have to repeat that. But based is based. You say whatever the hell you want, but there's no lies detected. This Elizabeth Warren Kamala Harris beef, I didn't even know about it. So I wish I had a video of my eyes when I saw this from Conservative Brief. Jenna Ellis tweets from there. Is this a Jenna Ellis project? I don't know, but Kamala Harris snubs Elizabeth Warren, has not returned apology call. So I'm looking at this and I'm like, what's the apology for? I don't know what's happening. And there's so much news going on. I didn't even know what happened. Vice President Kamala Harris still has not called back Democratic Massachusetts Senator Elizabeth Warren after many believed that Warren sniped at her in an interview. It's been 6 weeks since Senator Warren called to apologize after many believed that she insinuated that President Joe Brandon should consider another VP pick for the 2024 presidential election campaign, but Harris has not called back, CNN has reported. So now they're supporting this senile old fool, but they're saying this senile old fool, he's not the problem. The cackling hen is the problem. And Kamala Harris kind of felt some kind of way. She hasn't returned the phone calls. Multiple phone calls. Let's jump over to CNN. In a local Boston radio interview in late January, Warren was enthusiastic about President Joe Brandon's running for re-election. Who's not ready to throw a party for that one? What kind of party are you going to go to when Brandon announces his run, if he's going to do that? Who's enthusiastic about that? There's no authentic enthusiasm over that. But asked if Brandon should keep Harris as his running mate, she said, I really want to defer to what makes Brandon comfortable on his team. It's almost like, if you're going to take a trip somewhere with somebody and you're like, hey, could you take, so Brandon is going to take the trip to the 2020, it's a grind running for president in 2024. And they ask Elizabeth Warren, should Brandon take that trip with Kamala? And paraphrasing, Elizabeth Warren's like, that's a long, arduous journey. I think he should take someone more competent with him, somebody who he's comfortable with. She basically threw Kamala Harris under the bus so fast. This is the actual quote from Elizabeth Warren, I really want to defer to what makes Brandon comfortable on his team. That's a funny way of saying hell no. That's a funny way of saying, if it were up to me, hell no. She couldn't win her own state in the primary. Are you crazy? She can't have a conversation about a serious topic without cackling. The incident and its aftermath, different details of which were described to CNN by multiple people close to the Massachusetts senator and people close to the VP, has fed an ongoing breakdown of accusations and purported misunderstandings. That's a professional way of saying that there's beef in the political streets. And I'm here for it. Pretty insulting is how one person close to Harris described the feelings of many in the VP's office and her wider orbit. Remember, many in her orbit actually left her orbit. I guess they didn't like the trajectory. Several people close to Warren said the senator was calling to explain her statement as purely a mistake, a fumbling, unintentional attempt to avoid stepping on a campaign announcement from the president. A spokesperson for Warren pointed to the statement the senator issued hours after the original interview, clarifying what she said, and an additional person close to Warren cited a personal and political relationship that goes back to being the first senator to endorse Harris for Senate instead of her support. She didn't mean to imply otherwise. So Kamala Harris is like, what do you think, I'm a damn fool? If you could have said, if Brandon's running for president, there's no better person than Kamala Harris. But instead, you wanted the opportunity, you probably wanted the door left open for a white woman like yourself, Elizabeth Warren. Highly unlikely for that to happen, but just to leave that, sometimes maybe you might leave like your house or something with the keys out and you're like, okay, I'll close the door, but leave it open just in case. And I think Elizabeth Warren wanted to leave that. These are self-serving, aspirational sleazebags. There's no reason, in my opinion, allegedly, that Elizabeth Warren would be hesitant to back Kamala Harris unless it was self-serving. There's no other reason a politician would do that. She would quickly say, if she had no self-serving interest in dissing Kamala, she would have said, of course, if he's running, Kamala, they're the ticket. That's not hard to say. But she had some type of self-serving issue. I don't know what it is, but that's how I view it. I also view this as self-serving as well. We're going to talk about, again, the ambiguously gay duo and their their situation. The Oscars happened yesterday, everybody. Hopefully, did you have fun watching that? That rousing, entertaining mess? I didn't watch much of it. I saw clips. I actually got a lot of information through people on Twitter. It's probably the best way to follow the Oscars. But what the Oscars has boiled down to is a bunch of rich, pampered, well-known celebrities in a room together with a bunch of racial tension. That's all it's become. Because they're in the room of critical race theory, and everybody knows anytime a black or a person of color, however they call it, we're back to calling them coloreds now. Progressivism kind of goes back full circle. I'm going to show you, if I have time, segregation as well. We're going full circle. They built this black neighborhood of tiny homes. Great. We're going back to Jim Crow. But all it's become is a racial tension event, meaning there's a bunch of black people in the audience who want to flex the color of their skin into the reason why if they don't get an award, that's why they got an award. If I'm wrong, tell me the black person that says, oh, it had nothing to do with race, it's just who they picked, which it could have had to do with race. I don't know. But that's what the Oscars has become, a racial tension event. That's why it's not funny anymore, or it never really was, but that's why it's not entertaining at all. It's drab. It's just, you could cut the tension with a butter knife. That's all it is. It's, I like the Oscars because when the fashion is more, I think it's better than like the Grammys and definitely the Met Gala, which is a joke. But that's what it's for, to be like more abstract. But you got beautiful dresses, beautiful suits, and all the best tailored stuff and all that. You go into a room. Imagine taking some of the, I don't know how many people go to the Oscars, take hundreds of people with the biggest egos in the damn world, kind of like politicians, but in a celebrity fashion where they're really stupid people very often, but they're good at their craft of acting or whatever they do. Imagine going into that environment, going into a big, arena, I forget where it's at, what the venue is, going into a big hall, and when you go in the hall, if you had X-ray vision, you would see nothing but racial tension in the air. And you would need to swim through it and navigate it for 3 hours of just unfunny and disgusting and stupid jokes. And this time it was Will Smith smack jokes or whatever, just lame activity. While the whole time it's hard to breathe because the racial tension is suffocating everybody. Go online and see the reactions now. The whole effing thing is about which black person got this, which black person didn't get this, or whatever identity got this, didn't get that. That's where I'm going here. This is a self-serving comment, and I don't know where to start. Let me start with first Angela Bassett. That's where I should start. For context of what I'm going to talk about, Jamie Lee Curtis, who I like, very famously, wasn't she born a hermaphrodite? Which is a fun fact. I'll look that up to make sure. That's not an accusation you want to just throw out there. But I believe Jamie Lee Curtis was born a hermaphrodite, which is, it doesn't matter. I'm not trying to diss or anything like that. But just kind of like a fun fact. Yeah, so this is, maybe it's Snopes is trying to debunk it. Let me see. I'm off track. Let me go off track for a second. Now I need to know. You can't bring up someone being born a hermaphrodite without clarifying. So let me digress to clarify real quick. Y'all might know in the chat, but I don't know. I heard the rumor. I don't know if it's true or not. And it's a cool fact. It's actually a cool thing. I'm not dissing it. Fact check by Snopes, the trustworthy Snopes. Who wouldn't want to go to Snopes for a fact check? There's a rumor. Here's the claim that actress Jamie Lee Curtis, and I'm trying to clarify this because I've made this claim. If I'm wrong, I will change it. Actress Jamie Lee Curtis acknowledged in an interview that she was born with both male and female organs. That's a very specific claim. I just want to know if she was born with male or female organs. It had nothing to do with the interview. But okay, let's go. What to make of the child of two successful and famous what? They said false. So, okay. No one but Miss Curd. Oh, so it's one of these. Oh, it's one of these. So there's a story that's circulating around Hollywood that Jamie Lee Curtis was born in hermaphrodite with both organs of, just something that happens in nature or life, with the sex organs of both male and female, and had to undergo surgery after birth to become legally female or whatever, to get rid of one of the stuff. So is she or isn't? No one but Miss Curtis, her parents, and her doctors have the definitive answer to this question, and none of them is talking. So what the hell are we talking about? How do you say it's false when you don't know? Okay, so we don't know. Allegedly, she was born a hermaphrodite. Whatever. Let's get back on topic. Great fact check. You fact check it by saying false, and you don't prove it false. Okay. So Jamie Lee Curtis, and you know what made me think of it? Was actually the famous scene in True Lies was a dope scene, where young Jamie, to me, maybe people might disagree, but to me, young Jamie Lee Curtis was a problem. Remember the leg scene from True Lies? That's the first thing I think of when I think of Jamie Lee Curtis. Jamie Lee Curtis had that. True Lies was a great, like a action movie, one of those great, was it 90s, right? Great action movie. She had that strip scene with Arnold Schwarzenegger, and then Then she had the was it the leg scene or was the strip scene? I forget. But I think about True Lies. Because actually, it was but the other movie was Sharon Stone with the legs, but I thought she had a legs scene in True Lies. But I think it was the dance scene in True Lies. Yeah, this scene here. This is one of the first things I think of with Jamie Lee Curtis, believe it or not. So she just comes through and then she does some type of seduction thing with Arnold Schwarzenegger. Famous, very famous scene. But for context on this awards, and when we get to the self-serving part, and this is going to go to the duo of Michael B. Jordan and Jonathan Majors, Angela Bassett didn't win the award for Best Supporting Actress. And in Black Panther, Angela Bassett was very good, regardless of what the movie, I didn't think it was the greatest of movies, but she was good. She's just a great actress. She can play any role, anytime. She's a hell of an actress. So I didn't see all these movies, so I'm not making any claims of who should win, who shouldn't. I'm not making any claims that's not relevant to my conversation. But I will say I am not dissing Angela Bassett. I want to make sure that's clear. I am not dissing Angela Bassett. But here's what happened. She didn't win. And here's what it looked like. It was awkward to say the least. So you have Angela Bassett, Carrie Condon, Jamie Lee Curtis, someone I don't know, Hong Chu or Chow, and they're all up for Best Supporting Actress. And if you're just listening, Angela Bassett is not impressed.
Jamie Lee
Angela Bassett does not smile.
Jamie Lee
If you can see this, can I zoom? I can't zoom in better than this. So I apologize. If you can see, make sure I'm sharing my screen. If you can see at the top, they announced Jamie Lee Curtis wins this award, and Carrie Condon.
Jamie Lee
She looks a little, I don't know what she says, but she claps eventually. Stephanie, I don't know how to pronounce her last name, Sue, is yelling for her, so it is cool. And then Hong Chow is clapping politely, and Angela Bassett is not here for that. Angela Bassett was not impressed.
Jamie Lee
Her face barely changed. She had a little smile on her face, and the smile was like, Jamie Lee Curtis, and I'm not impressed. It wasn't a smile like in support. There was no clapping.
Jamie Lee
It's kind of like if Joe Brandon were to announce his 2024 run while there might be a run on the banks, there's a run on the border, the country's in shambles compared to where you would expect the great United States of America to be. Money going all over the place, the sunflower country, to all these corrupt people. He's corrupt himself. If he announced for president, I would look like Angela Bassett. Joe Brandon, he announces his run for president.
Jamie Lee
She has that side eye look. This is going to be an iconic moment we're going to be watching for generations. Her face just unbothered. And so Jamie Lee Curtis, who is obviously white, won the award. Angela Bassett is black, didn't win the award. She wasn't happy, didn't applaud. I said she is under no obligation to look happy and applaud. I had zero problem with that. That's not my concern. And I think she is a fabulous actress. She's been good in every role I've ever seen her in, even if the movie's bad, even if it's not written good, even if the directing's bad. She does her thing. She gets it done. One of the best actresses of my generation, Angela Bassett, without question. After she got snubbed in their minds, because here's the undertone. I don't know why they did this, but the undertone, the impression that I get is because she was black. I've never seen them do a shout out like this to a white actress who got snubbed. So help me understand. But I acknowledge I don't know for sure. I'm just giving you what the appearance is. So after that happened, the ambiguously gay duo of Michael B. Jordan and Jonathan Majors did a passive-aggressive move. And here's the passive-aggressive move. They walked up on the stage And before they went into their prepared lines, they said, "Hi, aunt. Hey, auntie."
Hey, auntie, we love you.
So did they both do it? Did one? So that was planned. So
Hey, auntie, we love you.
so that was it. I'm laughing because I just these two bros. These two bros are special, man. So Jonathan B. Jordan on the left says, "Hey, auntie," and Jonathan Majors on the right says, "We love you." Had to have been maybe right before they went out. Who knows? They didn't have much time to think about it, or maybe they could have thought of it before and said, "Just in case she loses, we'll do this." But it looked planned. One said, "Hey, auntie." The other said, "I love you." It looked like they were prepared.
Hey, auntie, we love you.
And then they got a little yes, queen moment. So you see what happened is Angela Bassett didn't get the award. Her face looked like she wasn't happy about it.
Jamie Lee Curtis. Jamie Lee Curtis.
So Angela Bassett looked like she wasn't happy about it because her, and it sounds like the undertone, at least from people watching, is like her blackness wasn't enough or whatever. They don't pick a black person this, and then they come on stage and say, "Hey, auntie." So these two come on stage and then they say, "Hey, auntie, we love you."
Hey, auntie, we love you.
There's the racial tension in the air. Where is that "hey, auntie" coming from? What does that mean? What it means is they are doing a line from Black Panther that's Angela Bassett's character right there.
Hey, auntie. Hey, auntie. Hey, auntie.
So they did a quote from the Black Panther movie, "Hey, auntie," as an acknowledgement to Angela Bassett. And to me, it came across as supporting her, basically saying that she should have won. Let me know if they've ever done that to a white actress. I'd love to talk to them about him. I would say, I don't know what's in their head, but that's the tension that's in the air. And so now my comment after all that is, and why I think I put a picture on here, why I call them oh man, I don't know, maybe it's not there. Why I call them the ambiguously gay duo is because of the photos that they took. So if you want to know that they took a couple, if you don't know about that story, they took a couple photos, which I don't have no problem at all if they are gay. But it's funny, they didn't announce that they're gay. The photos look gay. You can get these jokes. So if you're not gay, you looked gay. I'm sorry. Let me look up the photo so I can show it. And I'm sorry because if I took photos, let me run this by for the people who kind of came at me like, "Wait, well, what's wrong? Like, oh, they're just beautiful photos. Oh, they're just showing affection. Oh, okay." I doubt you would afford me the same opportunities. Imagine if I came out. This is a planned photo shoot, and this in both photos, his cheek is touching Michael B. Jordan. So imagine if I did planned photo shoots with a friend, and my cheeks touching their cheek, and my cheeks touching his shoulder, and I don't know whose arm around his head. I don't know if it's Michael. I think it's Michael B. Jordan's, but it could have been Jonathan Majors' arms around his body. I don't know what's happening here. But that's why I'm joking about them. I guarantee you, the same people telling me it's just affection and all that, and you incessant of this. Number one, you can get these jokes. You can make jokes about me. I can make jokes about you, and life will be okay. So no, I'm just making jokes about them. But I guarantee you, those same people would not afford me the same opportunity if you saw me cheek to cheek without some Negro out there. You'd be like, okay, you should have announced. You should have came out the closet, is what you would have said to me. The only reason you afford them a certain leeway is because they are celebrities and you look at them a certain way. That's why you're giving them that leeway. They can get these jokes. They can get the banana boat jokes. They can get all these jokes. They can get the top bunk, bottom bunk jokes. They can get all of it. And somebody said, well, you wouldn't say it to their face. To hell, I wouldn't say it to their face. They might wreck me. Okay. What I would say to their face is, what was the photo shoot about, bro? That's what I would say to their face. And depending on their answer is where the conversation would go. I'm not done yet, though, with this whole topic. I've been digressing all over the place, but I'm not done yet with the Angela Bassett topic. But this is on point, though, with it. So everybody, that happened. Let me go back to the tweet. So that happened. So then I replied to it. I'm not even talking about the race part on it right now, whether Angela Davis should have won or not, if it was racial or not. My response to this was, well, somebody said this to them saying, hey, auntie, in not so many words, they said, we see you, we love you, we all know what's happening here. See the racial, at least she believes it's a racial issue. We all know even she doesn't have the courage to say it, at least in this tweet. Keep your head up. Oh, okay. Is that what they meant? Then why didn't they say that? So my reply was, why do you support this racial passive aggressiveness? When Michael B. Jordan and Jonathan Majors came out with those ambiguously gay duo photos, everyone told me they were tough guys. You wouldn't want to see them in an alley. You wouldn't say it to their face. All this and that. So if they're really tough guys, why, if they really wanted to say, we see you, we love you, you got snubbed because of your race or all that, I don't know if that's what they meant, but whatever they meant, they didn't say it. So say it out loud and proud if you're that tough, and say it with your chest. You don't look that proud to me. You don't look that tough to me. And what kind of stupid ass argument is, oh, if you saw them and they would beat you up, so what? They would beat me. Yeah, they would beat. What's your point? They're gonna beat me up and make me a bottom bitch? What's your point about them beating me up? Okay, they'll be the ambiguously gay, very strong beat 'em up duo. And my take still stands. Lived or unlived, my take will live on forever. Unchanged. So what? And what's their daily life? Their daily life is to what? Go act and work out because that's what they need for the movie role? To get pampered and train all day? Let me train all day too. I might still get wrecked, but I might get a couple jabs in. It'd be like saying, oh, I'm an accountant. Let me see you in these streets and balance these books. Oh, they couldn't do that. Why? Because that's not their profession. That's why. It'd be like saying Michael Phelps would beat me in a swimming race. Great. What's your point? These leftists are stupid, man. They're just dumb as hell. They're dumb as a box of rocks. Their argument is they would beat you up. That's the argument. Let me know what you think. This tweet was funny from the redhead libertarian. I'm going to go to that. I'll look at comments here. I haven't even looked at the comments much. I just got to try to get through this stuff. Ray Infinity fed the show, Ray Studios. The Oscars was just a propaganda event, of course. Yeah, how could anybody, does anybody get through? Ray says, how can anyone get through the Oscars? I watched a little bit of it, and then my wife and I like to look at the outfits. I kind of like looking at the dresses, and because the guys just wear tux or whatever. But the dresses the women wear, it's interesting to do. Rest in peace to Joan Rivers. Man, these are the moments I miss Joan Rivers where Joan Rivers, man, no one talked trash like Joan Rivers. No one talked trash about Joan Rivers. She would talk, she had the show on E, I believe it was on, and she would talk trash about what they were wearing, all that kind of stuff. She went out like a G though, didn't she? Joan Rivers. Joan Rivers had that courage, man. We don't have many people in society with the courage to do this anymore.
First, the United States will see the first gay president or the first woman president?
We already have it with Obama, so let's just calm down.
Got it.
So let's just calm down. What an epic moment. On July 4th, 2014, Joan Rivers made this comment to a reporter.
First, the United States will see the first gay president or the first woman
we already
president?
have it with Obama, so let's just calm down.
Got it.
No, Michelle is a
I'm sorry, she's a what?
a transgender. We all know.
Oh my gosh. First, the United States will see the first gay president or the first woman
we already
president?
have it with Obama, so
I love how Joan turned around like, did I stutter, effer? Did I stutter? Transgender. Did you get it? Did you get it that time? And he was like, oh my goodness.
let's just calm down.
Got it.
No, Michelle is a
I'm sorry, she's a what?
Oh, I'm sorry, you said she's a what?
is a
I'm sorry, she's a what?
No, you heard it the first time. It was pretty clear.
is a
I'm sorry, she's a what?
a transgender. We all know.
Oh my gosh. First, the United States.
Unfortunately, 2 months later, on August 28th, she saw a doctor for a routine endoscopic procedure, and she was never heard from again. The late, great. I read a lot of her books, man. Her books, some of her books I've read through, probably some of the fastest reading I've ever done because it's just so funny. Man, rest in peace to Joan Rivers. She made those more boring Oscars and stuff like that exciting. Because everybody, the actors, actresses, everybody would go to Joan Rivers to see who she was capping on. Just an epic woman. This is just a short, funny tweet by the redheaded libertarian. So we did daylight saving times, and the redheaded libertarian says, me, after the government steals an hour of my sleep. She's one of the best at promoting liberty in like a funny and educational way. And she's so great with like the founding of the country. Here's the tweet. I didn't show the picture, but here's her face. She's saying, me after the government steals an hour of my sleep, which is that's exactly what happened. I thought there were some bills to end that nonsense, but why wouldn't it? I don't know. We need to end that stuff, man. We don't need it. I don't get it. It's stupid. Let's move on. Let's not pretend. Let's not pretend that this didn't happen, because it's such a great moment. That's an accident. I didn't want to get into that one yet. Let me find the right moment. That moment I'm going to get into a little bit is the government that's in the UK. So I'm going to do this quick take on Madonna real quick, and then I'm going to go into Jeffrey Marsh. I have a couple things to say about Jeffrey Marsh and that situation. Just a couple. We need to get into that. I need to make sure there's time for that. That will be spicy. Here's Madonna. Madonna. What the fuck is this?
Turn around, make it bounce like that. Didn't know you could hang like that. Sipping on champagne like that. Turn up, get ill like that. Didn't know you would chill like that. Didn't know you could move like that.
Oh my fucking God. What is going on? If you're just listening, this is Madonna in some rainbow colored winter hat with long pieces on either side of her ears, a black shirt and chains with black gloves on, exposing her fingers. I mean, her body is very slight, so she's not like overweight or anything. She looks very skinny, almost too skinny. Madonna, by the way, is 64 years old, and she's dancing to some goofy ass song in some goofy ass way on a TikTok. It's one of the most bizarre Madonna. She's got a lot of bizarre videos. This is one of the most bizarre. Would somebody do a wellness check on her? ASAP? Stat. Wellness check stat. When you get to be 65 or 64 years old and your face looks like this, I don't need to see you do any TikTok dancing. I need you to do some knitting. I need you to go, I don't even need to see you on the golf course. I need you to be watching daytime TV. I need you in a wheelchair. I need you with a walker. That plastic surgery didn't do a damn thing. You 64, you look like 84. And you're dancing on TikTok like a fool, like a court jester, trying desperately to stay relevant. Clown World retweeted this. Madonna at 64 years old, everybody.
Like that. All night, get down like that. Turn around, make it bounce like that. Didn't know you could hang like that. Sipping on champagne like that. Turn up, get ill like that.
And not that there needed to be any clarification, but it's a no. Hell no. I don't care if you're into the GILF prawn or not. This is a hard no. Angela Bassett was a hard yes. How old is Angela Bassett? I'm married. I'm just saying hypothetically. Angela Bassett is she? Angela Bassett is 64 years old. Same exact age. Perfect comparison. Perfect comparison. So if you're into the I don't know if YouTube allows you to say it or not. I'll just say if you're into the GILF lifestyle, then be that. Then be about it. Be proud and out for the GILF. If you're there, you found your GILF god. It's Angela Bassett. It ain't getting any better than this at 64. Now, all these pictures aren't her at 64, but it gets no better. It gets no better. The work that she's had done doesn't make her look like a fool. She looks young. And then take a look. I don't know how old she was in this one. Take a look at this one. The answer is yes, okay? That's just a yes. Whether you're into the GILF or not, the answer is a yes. I won't take any other answer. But when you compare her to Madonna, who's the same age, my God.
All night, get down like that. Turn around, make it bounce like that. Didn't know you could hang like that. Sipping on champagne like that. Turn up, get ill like that. Didn't know you would chill like that. Didn't know you could move like that. Two-step real smooth like that. All night, get down like that. Turn around, make it bounce like that. Didn't know you could hang like that. Sipping on champagne like that. Turn up, get ill like that.
Get hype! Get hype! This reminds me of like I'm gonna date myself. Back in the 90s would have been like, go Madonna, go Madonna, go Madonna, go Madonna. See, back in the day, she would have went down the Soul Train line and she would have been there. There you go. Get your old ass moving. Old alien ass looking 64. Oh my God. This bitch looked like she came from one of those UFOs that we shot down.
Didn't know you could move like that. Two-step real smooth like that. All night, get down like that. Turn around, make it bounce like that. Didn't know you could hang like that. Sipping on champagne like that. Turn up, get ill like that.
What is this?
Didn't know you would chill like that. Didn't know you could move like that. Two-step real smooth like that. All night, get down like that.
So this is what happens, y'all. I want to look out for my fellows again. So this is what happens. Like, you know, you go to the club. I haven't been to a club in a minute. But you go into the club and the club's dark. It's dark in, you know, most clubs. In, you know, the bar or the club or whatever. And you could be, you know, going wherever you're at. You could be on the dance floor or whatever. And you kind of don't, because the lighting's not good, you know. So you could walk up and think, hey, I'm going to get some tonight. And you think the chick looks like this. So when you're in the club, you like, yeah, get down like that. Okay, we're going to get some tonight. And you could be all happy. And then they turn the lights on, and this is what you see. This is what's happening.
Like that. All night, get down like that. Turn around, make it bounce
And
like that.
so the lights turn on, and you realize you've been dancing with a 64-year-old Madonna, and it's all over. There is not enough blue pills in the world to help solve this problem.
Get down like that. Turn around, make it bounce like that. Didn't know you could hang like that. Sipping on champagne like that. Turn up, get ill like that. Didn't know you would chill like that. Like that.
No, I don't want no
Didn't know you
chill.
could move like that.
No chill.
Real smooth like that.
I don't
All
care
night,
if I'm
get down like
64.
that.
Because, you know, your standards have to change. Like if you're 80 and then you got the super blue pill and you still active like Buzz Aldrin, you got to change your standards. And it's still a hard no. It's still a hard no for me. Let me know what you think. If it's a yes for you, no hatred. I'm going to look at you sideways, but no hatred. Oh, my goodness. What's up? New member to the channel. I got to do more for the membership. It's only $1 a month, man. Just throw your boy. Basically, I get 70 cents. I think YouTube gets 30 cents. Ron Swanson, Stalinist. Appreciate you. Thank you. Uncanny Valley Madonna. I needed that laugh, man. That was, especially before this next topic. This next topic's not going to be as much laughter. But I just needed that, man. I don't know why I found it so funny, because it was just so awkward. She's dancing poorly. She looks weird. And then they did the camera angle, and she's trying to be young, like a young TikToker. And the whole thing is just a hot mess. And if we can't laugh at that, then if we can't laugh at that, then we can't laugh at anything. Man, but thanks for joining up and being a member to the channel. And this next one, whew, I needed that before this next topic. That's for sure. Things are heating up. Things are out of control. And I'm gonna play. I forgot. Somebody, it may have been Ray, I forget. I apologize. I don't know who sent this to me, but I think someone sent it to me to bring it to my attention. The TikTok woman, the woman on TikTok who exposed potential problems with Jeffrey Marsh, looks like she's under attack or being threatened. And this is serious stuff. Serious accusations. Here's the thumbnail from, I'm on Odin's Men on his great YouTube channel. Shout out, I'm going to play his video. Shout out to him. So if you don't know, she went after Jeffrey Marsh. So this woman, I forget her name. I forget her name. But she's like a comedian. She's funny. I don't know if she's a real comedian or not, but she's funny. Her name is I don't know how to pronounce it. Let me just put it up in here just to be respectful and thorough. Sure, the sister Shumi Ranissa, who spoke out against Jeffrey Marsh, the pro-alphabet guy who targets kids on TikTok, allegedly. She went after him. Basically not any violence or anything like that, but went after, him on an ideological standpoint. She's received unlived threats, had old images of her without her hijab leaked, and that's to threaten her life. Her car was damaged, and now her kids are being targeted. There's so much fear in her voice. And I'm going to come back to that in a second. But what she did was speak out against Jeffrey Marsh because she saw problems with this dude. That's all she did. I want to make sure that before we play what happened here, she didn't call for any violence. She didn't do any type of threatening. That's very important because now we need to find out who the aggressors are. It's extremely, important to point out who the aggressors are. If I point out problems with a video or your thoughts or something about somebody, that has nothing to do at all with any type of violence or any type of accusation, any type of threatening type of thing. She never did that. And she is now getting attacked, and I believe this is in the UK with her. But we're seeing the same thing all over the world with the T group or people who are like the T group or the alphabet mafia. We are seeing all kinds of things. So Jeffrey Mars has a tampon deal, allegedly. I don't know if that's real or not. It's just so bizarre for a biological man to have a tampon deal. But if I can't talk about your tampon deal, you're putting your TikToks out there, Jeffrey Marsh, I'm talking about you. I have no beef with you. Never said I did, never did. If I can't talk about the stuff you are putting out there into the world, we have very big problems. If I can't talk about it peacefully, saying maybe I doesn't look like I like you or whatever, nothing against, no blanket statement against all people. Even if you want to say a blanket statement against all people, that's not me. But as long as you're not threatening, you can have that opinion. So what's happening here? We'll go to Odin's men to lay it out for us.
So I just got an email saying pretty much a threat, saying they know where I live.
Wait a second. Jeffrey Marsh's people are upset. The Rainbow people are mad at her for saying something about Jeffrey Marsh. Oh, love was love. I just want to get married, be accepted, validate me. This can't be right. She's got to be telling a fib.
And what scares me the most is they have got my daughter's details on the email, like what time I leave to drop them to school, pick them up.
So she did some TikTok. She's a very big TikToker, probably a lot of followers. I knew about her before this because my wife would say, oh, yeah, this woman's real funny. She has these funny reactions and stuff. And then somehow, so she's living her life, doing her TikTok thing, doing great on TikTok, at least from a subscriber standpoint and getting reaches and cutting through the noise. That's the big thing here because they would do the same threats to anybody else. They're just targeting her because she's cutting through. And the stuff she's saying is reaching people outside of those echo chambers. So they're going to start with her first. This is nothing more than the same thing that the Triple K used to do back in the day for the Democratic Party. You step out of line, we'll find a cross, and we'll find your lawn, and we'll find a match and gasoline and make it burn. And the same type of thing. That's what this T group is. That's what all these leftists are. That's what Jane Fonda was on The View talking about. Unlive. So Joy Behar said, well, what do we do? I mean, we're at a political standpoint, basically. And what do you suggest? How do we operate going further from here with our political enemies or people we don't agree with politically? And she says, well, there's unliving people. And they go and they say, wait, what did you say? She said, unliving people. And then after the fact, she says, I was joking. Oh, yeah. Yeah, great. What a great way to lighten the mood with the joke being the punchline of unliving people. That's the punchline, unliving your political enemies. Yeah, haha. Yep, I'm laughing my ass off. Sound real funny. And you looked like you were delivering a joke, too. And this is the same thing here. Her life is being threatened because she did TikToks talking about Jeffrey Marsh and how there's problems with Jeffrey Marsh's Patreon where he could potentially have young children sign up for it and not tell their parents or whatever. And God knows what they talk about in their private stuff. And then later on, Jeffrey Marsh started deleting stuff. And I'm not alleging that Jeffrey Marsh is telling anybody to do anything, but there's people who seem to side with him that have been threatening her. That's how we got here.
That is terrifying. I know she's got 2 girls. She's a mother, Muslim woman clearly, but obviously that this Jeffrey Marsh's crowd, the trans women or trans people on TikTok, have decided she's down here. We use this little analogy here where they're here and she's here on the scale. They can pretty much do whatever they want with impunity, harassing her. I don't know what else to call this. It seems like it would be deemed harassment when somebody's doxing you, saying, hey, I know what time you come and go from your house. I know where your children go to school. It's terrifying. You know, nothing will be said. Now, let's just say Jeffrey came out today and said, this is completely unacceptable.
To me, it pretty much confirms the concerns, allegedly. I can believe whatever I want to believe. I believe all her concerns, I believe them, period. I don't have any proof. I'm not saying anything definitively. I'm just saying in my head, I believe them. Because if she brings up concerns and then the response is nothing from Mr. or whatever he goes by, Jeremy Marsh, but then the Jeremy Marsh supporters threaten her and Jeffrey Marsh is not calling them off, to me, I'll have the right to have my own opinion. Signed, sealed, delivered. You're not a dude I'm going to mess with, and those allegations have more credibility with me now.
Leave this woman alone. She's got a right to disagree. I do a video, run my mouth about it, say this is what people should be doing. Now, there's no reason to be doxing, hating. She just said his Patreon group for children, that's what Jeffrey markets to, was unsettling. Make sure to follow me in the description below on Rumble, as well as I have a locals channel, free to watch videos. All those videos aren't here. So if you like this stuff, go there right now.
And it's not a coincidence because both of my daughters, they go to 2 different schools. So they know. They've given the school details and everything. So, yeah, my daughters are involved now in this. Some of you might know that my car was damaged in this whole thing.
So another video I did, I can't even remember where they're at now. It's maybe on Odin's Men or on Rumble probably. All the new videos are going to Rumble. Don't forget that because I can speak like an adult. They damaged her car the first time and she commented like, okay, they're coming after my car, but now they know where she lives. Now they know her kids' details. It doesn't sound like these people are terribly stable. Let me go out on a limb here and say that.
I was getting not very nice videos and now emails with a lot of details on that email. So I'm done. I don't want to do anything. I'm not going to talk about Jeffrey Marsh. I've deleted everything.
Just like the KKK. I'm not gonna leave the Democratic Party. I'm not gonna talk about stuff I'm not supposed to talk about. You know, targeted at black people. I'm not doing. Okay, I'll do what you tell me to do. That's what the purpose of this is for. And you can say whatever you want. I want peace. This is a freak. Okay? And I can have that opinion. This right here. And there's nothing to do with any identity or anything. I'm talking about this person here. Not making even a blanket statement. If you want to make a blanket statement, you can. I won't agree with that. I don't really like. I try to stay away from blanket statements. Nobody's perfect. But this is a freak. This is not somebody to be trusted. This is the evolution of Dylan Mulvaney. And I can have that opinion and still say, I'm a peaceful person. I'm not talking about any, I don't know where y'all get that from, if you take that from people, because that's where they take it. They say, oh, criticism of me is violence. No, it's not. It's criticism of you. This person here is way worse than Dylan Mulvaney. Dylan Mulvaney was like, 10 years from now, we're going to look back at Dylan Mulvaney as like some type of right-wing nut job at the pace where we're going. This person right here, very creepy, very troubling, very unsettling. And I will say that for sure. Here's something that I found from Jeffrey Marsh that I found extremely unsettling. Here's a video from Jeffrey Marsh, and I don't know what to say about this, man. This is the video that really got me heated. Even more than that video, to be honest with you. People being funny, being coy.
What do taxidermists do?
Here's the video. I'm gonna start it over because the volume was low.
What do taxidermists do for work? You know, stuff.
Okay. Let's let that run a couple times. Let's run that a couple times. Run it back.
What do taxidermists do for work? You know, stuff.
Oh, stuff. Oh, okay. You think this is cute? You think this is funny? You think this is funny?
What do taxidermists do for work?
See what's happening on TikTok. See, I played a lot of TikToks, and there was one on the video that I just did where a woman's wearing like nude, the color shorts are the same color of her skin, and she's crossing her legs and it has a camera looking through the middle to make it look like she's not wearing anything because the shorts are the same color of her legs and it's kind of hard to see, and then they're even crunched up so it looks like you're looking at something. People on TikTok, what they're doing is just like me when I say the sunflower country, I'm trying to get around the algorithm. They're trying to get around the algorithm. I don't know what he means by this. So I'm going to need you to clarify this, because we're getting to very dangerous grounds right now. This goofy serial killer looking type of dude, or whatever he is, identifies as non-binary. I don't know what that is up here talking about what do taxidermists do?
What do taxidermists do for work?
This is getting way out of hand right now.
Stuff.
Oh, stuff. That's what. Look at that evil this is, yeah, that's why I needed the Madonna laugh before this. When I say evil, I mean evil. I do not say that lightly. When I say ungodly, I mean ungodly. I do not say that lightly. When I say they will unlive you just to unlive you, I mean that. Look at this little bitch right here. Like, ooh, stuff. Ooh, you need stuff. They are the aggressors. Never said anything. I've played a Jeffrey Marsh video before, never said anything bad about Jeffrey Marsh. I actually gave them props for being honest. This type of goofy stuff, y'all are beyond the fuck around and find out stage right now. This is getting way out of hand. Oh, I see. What the hell is going on right now? I see you this type of mannerisms and what the man, we are. And I don't know. I'm not even saying I know what this means. I'm just saying we're in a dangerous place where you playing games and stuff. This isn't funny. A taxidermist, obviously somebody who stuffed unlived animals. So this Jeffrey Marsh is getting a lot of heat. Well, what is this? What the hell is you talking about with taxidermy? Is there somebody that's going to be unlived or animals that are going to be unlived that need to be stuffed? What is going on? I think it's fair to ask for clarification. And things are getting crazy, man. It's always the ones, Jane Fonda, who should be in some nursing home somewhere with Madonna dancing. Jeffrey Marsh, he's not going to be on the front lines of any type of problematic conflicts. Why are they the ones hinting at, in my opinion, and not joking about, but really meaning violence? That's where these leftists trend to. And I'm going to tell you from my personal experience, I'm not going to stop talking about it. Y'all are at the stage, man, where we taking this well beyond. I am a peaceful person, but there will be defense, though. Don't think that that's not a thing. You look at Tim Pool's been swatted multiple times. That's somebody calling in to, in my opinion, unlive potentially or put their lives in danger, from Marjorie Taylor Greene to Tim Pool, and Tim Pool now kicked off a band camp, and it's all this attacking attacking people's credibility, trying to unlive them. Of course, they're going to go after people who have reach. They don't care about little on me or anything like that. But this is getting to a stage where we need de-escalation. And here's what we need. I need to be able to talk about your goofy ass without worrying about threats. You need to be able to talk about my goofy ass, and we need to leave it at that. That's why I kind of did that Keffels video too. And I kind of like where Keffels took it, where I don't think Keffels is doing as much of that, let me put my gang on you type stuff, like my internet gang to get you demonetized or banned or all that kind of stuff. Let's take away from that kind of stuff, because that's trending towards very bad places. That's nowhere near where Jeffrey Marsh is going, but it's similar because you're doing financial warfare at that time. I mean, Keffels got Destiny banned from Twitch, I believe it is, taking away some of his livelihood. I'm not going to shed a tear about Destiny. He's doing fine, but that's warfare. That's financial warfare. Let's de-escalate this. It made me think of Tim Pool. So we're talking about the one TikToker, they were telling her, we know where your kids go to school and all kinds of stuff like that. It reminded me of that video from back in the day from Tim Pool on Timcast. I never forget watching this video the first time, because I was more blue pilled. I was just getting into the Matrix, out of the Matrix at the time. And I had very similar views to Tim.
A couple years ago, I was in Berkeley.
I had very similar views to Tim Pool on 2A back in the day. Tim Pool, if you don't know, was actually for some regulations on guns back in the day, and I would call him in more of his blue pill days. He wasn't blue pilled, but more blue pilled days. Then somebody ran up on his crib, and now he's off in the woods. Get. When's the next practice? Where's the next practice? All about defense, peacefulness, not any aggression. But Tim moved from the city. I believe he was close to Philly, I believe. Moved out into a rural area with around people that respect you. And I love rural areas because they don't mess with me, I don't mess with you. We say hi, everything's cool. And everybody has their pieces, they have their protection. And it's not like you're up on top of each other. You don't have to worry as much about this T group. That's why they're probably doing swattings and stuff like that for him. But he went from being somewhat anti-2A to, on the weekends, get. What's the next weapon coming out that I can practice with for defense? This is not a joke. And if you want to help, my friends on the populist left, if you want to help, you better go get the message out to Jeffrey Marsh and the people who support him. Cut that nonsense out immediately. But it reminded me of this old Timcast video, man. This is eerie stuff right here. This is part of the progression of how Tim Pool made that story arc that I'm not going to get into too many details, but I'm following that same arc. You need to be able to defend yourself. This is beyond the government. You can't be out here waiting for the government to protect you. They're on their side. Definitely the federal government is, for sure.
A couple years ago, I was in Berkeley, and I've been to Berkeley and Oakland several times, and I noticed this strange phenomenon. Many of the businesses have far-left protest signs in their windows. And at first glance, I just assumed most of these businesses support far-left protesters and far-left ideology. But it wasn't until I went to one establishment that had a sign in their window where I was talking to the bartender. It was a bar. There you go. And the bar, it was a restaurant with a bar. And the bartender said, well, we were having a political conversation, and they did not sound far left. In fact, they sounded quite moderate and, kind of liberal. And I said, so then what's with the sign in the window? And they said, if we don't put that up, they'll destroy our they'll smash the windows, they'll loot and rob the store. You never know. And I was like, whoa, really? There were a bunch of stores, all of them, and some of them were just like a nail salon from Asian immigrants. And I'm like, oh yeah, that makes sense. The violent riots that happened in Oakland, they're terrified someone will come and smash their windows. In France, there was during I think it was France. No, I think it was Germany. Hamburg. There is a photo of all of these storefronts smashed out, save one, with a far left protest sign in the window.
I often joked, I haven't done it, but I've often, not even joking, but dead serious, that I would have a BLM shirt, Black Lives Matter shirt, enough for my whole family, just in case we were in an urban area, carrying it with us, just in case we're in an urban area and some beef pops off, that we can camouflage with the Black Lives. Go get the shirts real quick. Tifa's running around so you can camouflage. That's the same thing he's talking about. You can camouflage with that Black Lives Matter type stuff. So they don't. Hopefully they don't come for you.
No. So let's get to the. We'll get back to this, okay? But let's get to the brass tacks here. Last night, I should say this morning, about 4 hours ago, I was greeted at my home by a strange person who tried breaking in. In this, what you see on the screen here is this right here is the individual, and I'll play for you the video now. And I have some sounds and everything, which I don't know if it's going to play properly here, but you can see them doing. I have no idea what they're doing. So this is 4:27 a.m. this morning, and they, put some stuff in their bag, and they just kind of dilly around. But I've got more footage. They then walk up to my porch, and now you can see them right here, walking up onto my porch.
And I told people, you might have heard this already, but recently somebody ran up on the porch, have them on camera, ran up on the porch. What's the camera do? What's the point of that? Okay. Ran up on the porch and stole an Amazon package. Very common, right? People were driving around neighborhoods doing that around 6 a.m. while I was awake at the crib at home, wife and I, kids. We are at that F around and find out stage, really close.
After this, something interesting happens. Now, I'm actually quite angry that the porch light wasn't on. That's a whole other issue. What's interesting is that this person walks onto my porch and then does nothing. At least that's what I thought at first. Because in this video, which I'm gonna have to drop in a clip over the top because it's not playing the audio. You can hear them try and actually break in.
What he's played there is you heard they tried to get in the door. This is 2019.
Now, I did then have the police come to my house, which you can see here from other surveillance footage at 5:10.
What are the police going to do?
Police actually got here a little bit earlier than that, but they came out and they talked to us. And so let me tell you what happened. And I do have some I don't know, enhanced footage for a better view. But let me tell you a story. I'll tell you why I talked about that thing in the beginning. This was not a chance encounter, this person coming to my house. This was not a random person. They told the police they knew who I was. But here's the thing. Around 4:27, as it were, a.m., I woke up because I heard a weird noise. And that was it. I heard a thump, and all of a sudden I wake up, and I'm thinking to myself, did I just hear a noise? And what people don't seem to understand is that the mindset you have when you're alert and awake throughout the day is dramatically different to when you're asleep and just wake up. Plus, optimism bias, right? There was one story I heard about a security guard at a bank, saw a bunch of guys running with masks on, and he didn't do anything. And they asked him why later, and he said, I couldn't believe it was actually happening. Well, so here's what happens. I wake up at about 4:27, as the security camera shows, because I heard a noise. And I'm groggy, confused. I've just been pulled out of a deep sleep, and I have no idea what's happening. My brain's not functioning yet. And I heard this noise. My lights were on. Now, my lights are voice activated because I have the Amazon device. And my first thought was, must be a critter. I don't know. But why are my lights on? Well, the reality is my lights, for whatever reason, aren't functioning properly. They turn on randomly. It's really annoying. I think I know why, but it's they're supposed to be set on a timer to wake up with the sun. It's a really frustrating thing. They're actually, as I did, who in their right mind would show up at 4:30 a.m., pitch black, and come knock on our door? So at least they're knocking, right? Well, look, they tried breaking in, and I'll get to that. So we ignored. As I was talking to the cops, I pulled up the camera footage, and I said, you know what, man, it has infrared on it, but it's not that good. And the porch light was off. The one night, it's not supposed to be off, but I guess someone hit the switch, and it's really annoying. Boy, am I frustrated about that. But, with the light on, you can see everything perfectly. And the cop was like, well, you should...
Wait for it. This is an old Tim Pool video. I'm going to tell you why I'm watching it. This is crazy. From 3 years ago. Tim's checking his phone right here. This is a milquetoast lefty skater dude.
Yeah, I think the guy from my house is back. If you could send police to, that'd be great. They're on the front porch. I think it's the same guy from this morning. I have no idea, but I don't know who this is, so I'm not gonna answer the door. Yeah, it's one guy's. It might be the same guy. I really don't know, but considering I don't know if you're the same guy I talked to this morning or what, but yeah. All right, thank you. Bye.
That's live or while he was recording. Here's my takeaway. So that's before Tim moved into a more rural area and started collecting swords and guns and all kinds of weapons for defense. I'm telling you, man, this is how I'm just going to end it with this bro right here. This is all that needs to be said in the defense. I'm a very peaceful man, but you've seen what they trying out here to do. I'm just going to let you know, like I've mentioned, how I've been very soft. And let's just say I'm following that Tim. I knew this was going to happen over time. I saw it happening over a year ago that, what I'm talking about, my positions, you're going to have to be ready. And I'm going to let Bra have the final word.
All right, today we're going to talk about how we can find out.
This cop is laying in the cut and
wait, this is not this is the wrong one. I wanted to play the original F around. I'm going to find it. I didn't watch the whole video. I saw this beginning. I thought it was the original. But you've all seen it. It's crazy. I can't find the original F around and find out. That I wonder when he recorded it and how he recorded it. And it just blew up to like, I mean, who knows how many true views that video has. Let me see if I can find it on YouTube. I should have that locked. That should be a drop. That should be locked and loaded. But that's where we at right now. It's he did a master class. And here's what it sounded like. I think this is the final word and the final thing that needs to be said. And this is not, you go ahead and take that arc. That doesn't give you some blanket immunity. Everybody's in danger. But this is where this is heading. To where this broad talked about it right here. I hope this is the right one.
All right, today we're going to talk about how we can find.
Yeah, you're not a.
All right, today we're going to talk about how we can find out and how much we can find out and what it takes to get there. So first we have to decide how much do we want to find out. So let's say in this case, I want to find out at a level of 7. Okay, so I find that level on my graph and I come horizontally to my gradient line. Where it intersects with my gradient line, I'm going to come straight down to where it intersects with my fuck around line. Now there's going to tell me how much I have to fuck around to find out what I need to find out. See, as you can see, the more you fuck around, the more you're going to find out. And also, if you stay down here and you never fuck around, you'll never find out. So I hope this lesson is helpful.
Preach. Let me know what you think. I got one more topic and then I'll be out. This is a more lighthearted one. At least, I think it's just one more topic. I always say that, then I have like 5 more topics. But I have one more topic, and I like TikTok. I make no bones about it. I just want the algorithm to be public. I think it's a great app. It's like America's. Well, actually, I have 2 topics. Very good. I have a very short, happy topic to end on. But it's America's funniest home videos is all it is, without the need for a major network. And this dude was on TikTok. What is he on TikTok talking about? He's on TikTok talking about hairy cookies with a passion. He committed to the bit.
I don't know about any other man, but man, listen, can we bring back hairy coochie? I don't want no PPP. potpourri, perfume, pussy, you can have it. Greased up and shit, ain't got no motherfucking hair on it. I don't know where the hole at. Go down. Let's bring back that gremlin coochie. Oh, where the coochie hairs stay on your head all day. You can tell it to your friends, smell that. In the 8th grade, we know you digging them britches. You gotta look for the teachers and shit. I want hairy coochie. I'm a heathen. I want it to smell like you. I don't want it to smell like motherfucking Dove soap. I want it to smell like you. I love you. I want that. I want to be a gorilla in the coochie. I don't know about any other man, but man, listen, can we bring back...
I don't know what to... Y'all be wilding on TikTok. One more time.
I don't know about any other man, but man, listen, can we bring back hairy coochie?
He's talking about what you think he's talking about. Yes, he is.
I don't know about any other man, but man, listen, can we bring back hairy coochie? I don't want no PPP. Potpourri, perfume, pussy, you can have it. Greased up and shit, ain't got no motherfucking hair on it. I don't know where the hole at. Go down. Let's bring back that gremlin coochie. Oh, where the coochie hairs stay on your head all day. You can tell it to your friends, smell that. In the 8th grade, we know you digging them britches. You gotta look for the teachers and shit. I want hairy coochie. I'm a heathen. I want it to smell like you. I don't want it to smell like motherfucking Dove soap. I want it to smell like...
That's my favorite part. And then the end is he said, I want it to smell like you.
Motherfucking Dove soap. I want it to smell like you. I don't want it to smell like motherfucking Dove soap. I want it to smell like you. I love you. I want that. I want to be a gorilla in the coochie. Know about...
Oh man, that's why I like TikTok, man. TikTok is a good diversion. I have no comment. I did have a comment under that. Somebody asked if it was me that did it. I was dying. They replied, I don't blame them. They're like, was that you? Because I didn't really put much context with it. I was like, no. I was dying of laughter, them thinking it was me. And I was like, no, it wasn't me. But when it comes to the topic of Harry Cookie, I am for diversity, equity, and inclusion. I think that's what needs to be said about that. And then one this was just a good moment, man, just to leave out. We had a lot of topics. We need to have a family discussion as our country. I mean, like, one of those discussions where it's like, okay, we got family issues right now. We're going to have to sit down and work it out. But this, so there's a lot on the live, but I want to leave on a happy note, on a smile. Seriously. Clara, a girl with Down syndrome, has alopecia. And ironically, that's the same situation that Will Smith's wife is in that makes you go bald. It causes hair loss. Look at her smile when they put on a new wig. Just a great tweet. And I got this tweet from somebody on Twitter who's a furry. And, just somehow we kind of been able to follow each other. I like this dude, I think it's a dude, this Twitter account a lot. And came across my timeline. Look at her kids to be able to smile. I mean, this is beyond like any situation I've been in because luckily my kids haven't had any health issues, but that's a smile you can see, you can feel. Look, they all feel it, they all see it. What a beautiful, just a random moment wanted to share with everybody. Thanks for joining the live. Appreciate y'all. I will be in touch. Take care.